I'm not sure.
Say you look nice. Nothing special, sorry. Okay, we are almost there. I have lost Video Central. There it is. Okay, I've sent it. If you all want to send it to the things, and I will just get going, yeah? Oh no. I've now lost my place. 2 seconds. Great start. Okay, there we are. I can see everyone. Okay, I will just let everyone get settled. I'm going to delete that. Okay, welcome, Final Three, to your final tribal council. Eleanor, Jude, Kyle. Tonight, we will figure out who will triumph. Now, as I said earlier, how this is going to work is you are going to first have your opening speeches, and then it will be time for our lovely jury to address you all, and then you will have your closing speeches. This is your time to showcase your game. This is your time to convince this jury why you deserve to triumph. So all we have to say is good luck, and don't fucking no, I'm not joking. There's no RuPaul reference. But how this is going to work, as I said, with the opening speeches, you have already got your order, and then the closing speeches are going to be reversed. So I'm just going to confirm with Eleanor, who was the final immunity winner, that the order for opening speeches is yourself, Jude, Kyle.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so Eleanor, you are going to be going first. For your speeches, please reference Megan, who is going to do all the timing stuff with you. And I'm going to pass that over to her. Meg, if you're ready.
Yes, I will start the timer. You'll see it in the top right corner of your screen. So whenever you start talking is when I will start it for you.
And just for the record, Danny is connecting to audio if you want to give it just 2 seconds to let her disconnect.
Oh, not that. Are we good, Keisha?
It's still saying connecting, so I'm messaging her to see what's going on.
Okay. I mean, we are live streaming, so she can watch back.
Yeah. So I say continue and we'll send the link to the jury.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready whenever.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. I'll start by welcoming everybody to Final Tribal Council, and thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you to production for putting on this season. Thank you to the cast for playing with us. We could not have made it to the end without each and every one of you, and you guys made this an incredibly fun and exciting and challenging season. So thank you guys so much, and I look forward to hearing your questions. Okay, I'm just gonna start. Okay, my game was all about gathering information, being adaptable, taking calculated risks at just the right time, and managing this powerful alliance of 3. A massive part of my daily job is observing behavior and gathering data. Ironically, as an autistic person, I both struggle to trust my social reads on people while also making incredibly astute observations through years of trying to figure out what people mean by their tone, word choice, and facial expressions. Coming into the game, I intended to play a way more under the radar social game than I had to. I wanted to strategize from the back seat and not be looked at all. At the beginning of the game, I was experiencing some personal circumstances where I didn't actually end up building super strong connections with people on my OG tribe. So when the swap happened, I was really happy to see that I was still going to be able to play with Jude and Davy, but we were at a numbers disadvantage and everybody was looking at Cabra like, we got to get him out. I was, however, a little cautious about Davy because I had been tipped off about his previous relationship with Hyrie. But I put in work to start creating my persona of, I don't know what's going on. I don't want to be voted out, anybody but me, especially with Kyle and Rob, who I saw as big strategic players who I could use as shields. When I first won my first individual immunity, It gave me the safety and leverage that I needed in order to feel comfortable telling Jude that she was going to be the vote. At which point, Jude told me about her hidden immunity idol, and we realized we could like actually make something happen. However, we couldn't vote out Hyrie because of Davy, so we had to vote out Mona instead. Okay, sorry. When we had access to the challenge chats, I was super excited. I was in a chat with Cassie, and then Rocky joined. And so I was able to get a ton of information from them pre-merge about what was happening on Pequena 2.0 without really giving away what was going on our tribe. I also led them to believe that if our tribe did end up going to another challenge pre-merge, if we lost, me, Davy, and Jude would be in a lot more trouble than we actually were. Cassie and Rocky both told me that they would consider throwing the next challenge in order to protect us because they were in such a good position on their tribe. This allowed me to deduce that Rocky and Cassie were both socially empowered positions, and also that Jude and Davy were not expendable to them, which came into play early merge when I correctly clocked a potential alliance between Rocky, Jude, Davy, and Hyrie. When the merge happened, I kept up my strategy of, I don't know what's going on. I don't feel safe. I'll vote for anyone but me. I gently pushed the first vote towards TJ rather than a bigger threat like Z or Cassie because they benefited my game and TJ did not. Sorry, TJ. But the Davy vote was when my strategic brain really started working overtime. I knew I didn't want Cassie or Z to go home, and I knew that they were both getting votes. So I decided to cause some chaos. Z told me he had the numbers to get out Davy, and I correctly realized that no, he doesn't exactly, but I knew that Davy was going to be the vote that they put their votes on, and I knew that I could not vote for Davy without pissing off Jude, Rocky, and Hyrie. So I voted incorrectly on purpose for Owen. Sorry, Owen. I also suggested to Rocky at that time that it would be helpful if he threw a vote on Polly just in case something did get played. Rocky did end up voting for Polly, and he was the only one. This instigated some tension between Rocky and Polly, which was extremely important for my game moving forward, and I gently tried to keep going throughout the rest of the game. My strategy of splitting votes was to try and keep my real alliance under wraps while convincing my tribe mates who were not aligned with me to vote for people who would still be in the game the next day, creating friction and between other people and limiting the options of who that they could work with moving forward. A big shift in my game strategy and a point when I really had to adapt was when Hyrie pointed out that I had actually won 3 individual immunities when I thought I had only won 1. I didn't realize other people were counting the other challenge wins. So when I won the next immunity immediately after Fabi got voted out, I realized like, oh shit, I kind of have to keep winning at this point. Luckily, I did turn out to be kind of a challenge beast, and I set an all-time record for Triumph immunity wins with 6. Having immunity for so many merge rounds meant that I could show my alliance loyalty and protect them without being paranoid that my neck was on the chopping block. The night of the Cassie vote, I had correctly predicted that Hyrie was itching to make a big move next, and I knew that I put myself in a bad spot socially, and I was going to be on the chopping block if I didn't win individual immunity again. So I made a fake idol. It only took a couple hours for people to spread the rumor that I might have an idol, and suddenly people started wanting to talk to me again. I knew this was an extremely risky move that put more attention on me, but I figured it was worth it as I used this opportunity to build trust with my alliance and give people the thought that maybe like they might have to split votes or consider a plan B instead of me at the next tribal council. When I did finally lose immunity, my social game was so strong and I had shown so much loyalty that one of my allies gave me their hidden immunity idol in order to save myself, which I used to take out the biggest threat to my game moving forward. These 2 people sitting next to me were the only people in the game that I ever promised a final 3 to, and I don't know that they can say the same. I was the glue in the most powerful alliance in this game. I won 6 immunities, I made a fake idol, and I played a real idol to save myself. I chose this final 3 very early in the merge, and the 3 of us are sitting here right now because I wanted this to happen. I chose to sit next to big threats who I respect and love, but who I also think that I successfully outwitted, outplayed, and with your votes will outlast to be sole survivor of Triumph Season 10. Thank you guys so much, and I really look forward to hearing any questions you have about specific moves during my game. Yeah, that's it. Sorry. I can see
Okay.
my time.
Okay, thank you so much, Eleanor. We're going to move over to Jude now. So Jude, just confirm with Megan.
Yeah, I just want to make sure you were able to see that timer, right, Eleanor? You saw it in the corner? Okay. So it's just Ollie that's
Yeah,
well,
it's just me that can't see
perfect.
anything. It's fine.
So whenever you start talking, Jude, I will start your 7 minutes.
Okay, I'm ready. All right, good afternoon, good morning, good evening to everyone. First, I want to extend my congratulations to the two people sitting next to me. So Eleanor and Kyle, you guys played amazing, and I can't wait to see what happens at the end of this night. Also, thank you to production, thank you to the jury for listening to us, and I hope you'll take everything that we all say into consideration to make your final vote. So I wanted to split up my game into the three main parts: the social, strategy, and physical, starting with what I considered my strongest, the social game. So this was the one game where I made it my goal, and I learned from previous games that I want to be the first to talk to everyone. I want to be that name that people feel comfortable with. So on OD Cabras, I messaged everyone first. I tried to hop on as many calls as I could to balance out with my work schedule. And I found myself gravitating towards certain personalities. So I did make my first alliance with Davey and Rocky very early on in the game. I also tried to keep my options open, which might have like bit me in the butt a little bit when we come to the Mona vote out round. But this allowed me to gather information without confirming or denying any other relationships I did have. And it really paid off during the merge round, where I was able to join in a lot more alliances and get a lot more information that wasn't explicitly from Kyle or Eleanor, my core alliance. It also allowed me to get the idol hunt, the start of the idol hunt from 3 different people, which I used to my advantage. I do have some regrets, and I wanted to go address them as I go through each of these sections. I wasn't as accommodating to all the time zones, which I think might have hurt my social game. My issue with not saying no to alliances got me into the pickle with the Mona round, where I was clocked as being in too many alliances, even though like I did not promise anything to anyone, except for at that time that was Eleanor and Davey, who I did make promises I would not vote them out. So yeah, that was just my social game. If you have any more questions, I'd love to answer them. I want to go with the physical next. So this one, I think I got a little heat for. Pre-merge, I did work my absolute hardest because I did not want to go to a pre-council or pre-merge council. So this built I think this built a reputation where in the scavenger hunt, I answered a lot. I did really well in the endurance challenge there. And I think those were the challenges that I did like exceptionally at. I knew during the merge that I could take a back seat. However, I did only intentionally throw 2 challenges, and that was touchy subjects and the Final 4 challenge. I won where it mattered the most, like in the 5v5 at Final 10, as well as the Final 5 immunity challenge, where I knew that if Owen was the victor, he would sail to the end Final 5. So sorry about that, Owen. My regret in this section is that I was cocky at the Final 4 immunity challenge. I knew my only goal was to beat Polly, and once I did see Polly dropped, I had this huge moment of relief, which wasn't sportsmanship-like. And I wanted to let my 2 allies beat their individual goals. So for Kyle, that was his first immunity win, and for Eleanor, that would be her 6th immunity win. So I only wanted to beat Polly, and I went about it in the wrong way. Next on to strategy, and I think I talk about this a lot, or this is my biggest section. I actually felt like in this trio, I was the weakest at strategy. However, the idol hunt was like a big part of how I was able to prove my place in this trio. I was the first to find the pre-merge idol hunt and figure out how it works. So that includes the roles and the cooldown. With that information, I had reasonable cause to guess who on the other tribes had the idol and who on my tribe was coming close. And since I believed I knew the most about the hunt, I used it to build trust with other people, so such as Rocky and Eleanor and Davey, even going on to Cabras 2.0. So I always kept myself a step ahead, even during the merge. And but yeah, it was something that I think I was an expert at. I found the Cabras idol 6th day into the game, which I was hoping to save till merge, but I got into a situation during the Mona vote out round where I knew I had to use it on myself. The strategy there was to make sure after a while that the votes were only on me and not on Davey, since I can't play idol 2 places. So it was, at that point, I knew it was to convince everyone or make sure that I got enough information that the votes were going to stay on me. I was the one who found the merge idol, and I did give it to Eleanor. I found it after the Cassie vote out round, and I kept this information to myself So this was the one thing I did keep from my trio. I wasn't sure if I was going to go home during the final 8 round, so I kept it. So at that point, I did give it to Eleanor because she was immune. And this was, I guess, a strategic play where I wanted to build trust with Eleanor, but also it didn't feel right in a long-term strategy plan if that idol was played there. So it was a really big risk that I took and had to adapt in that case. I was given the idol back. And then this did restore my relationship with Eleanor after that chaos of the round prior and confirm my loyalties with her. So overall, my initial plan going into this game was to play it socially. It didn't end up going like that. I think I was a balance of, since I had the power of the idol and using the strategy there, as well as just being social, I guess. But my physical game normally outshines the rest. And in this game, it did not work out well with the challenges. I did have a big challenge threat on my tribe, or in my surrounding area. So I think that was something that kind of didn't help me shine in my physical game. I didn't want to talk about my regret for the strategy part is I think the way I went about the F6 vote. So since that was my idol and I voted for Rocky, knowing that the idol would be played on Eleanor, I think that was a little bit of a strategic mishap on my part, just because I do generally value my relationship with Rocky, and I knew the idol was going to be played, and that was my idol. So it was strategic in getting everyone to vote for Eleanor, because that's, I needed to know where the idol was going to be played instead of played on me or Kyle, or played on me or Kyle. But yeah, so that was so that was that part. Okay, so I think just overall, almost done with my time, but I only participated in 11 councils, which is actually a really short amount compared to, I think, the rest of this. And I didn't have a vote for 2 of them. I did lose my vote for the TJ round. And out of all of those, there was only one round where I didn't know what was going on. And that was the vote. There was a round where Davey went home. I incorrectly voted for Owen, and the rest of it, anyone who I wanted to go home, that's who went home in the following rounds. So I think that's overall. I'm excited to hear your questions. And yeah, hopefully you take everything into consideration. And cool. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Jude. Okay, we are now going to finish off our opening speeches with Kyle. So once again, I'm going to head over to Meg.
Yep, so same as them. Kyle, once you start speaking, I will start your 7 minutes.
Okay, I'm ready. Okay, so first of all, I want to say a huge thank you to Prod for putting on an amazing fucking season. This game has been so freaking fun from Final 21 all the way to Final 3. From start to finish, I had such a blast. And then the next thing I want to say is to the cast, just a general statement that I am sorry. I'm sorry if there's anything I did in the game that may have hurt you on a personal level where you feel like you should see me in a negative light. That was not my intention to hurt anybody's feelings coming into this game. I want you guys to understand I was just trying to play the most solid strategic game I could possible, capitalize on these social bonds so I could integrate myself well strategically and kind of build this social web around me to where I'm positioning myself well strategically heading into the game. And I wanted people to sleep on me. I wanted people to kind of be lost to the fact that, like Kyle, I think Kyle, I can trust Kyle kind of thing, where I was working with everyone at one point, and I'm not afraid to admit that. And I am stressed. I'm not going to get everything out in this 7 minutes. So any flaws, critiques, comments you have about my game, I'm here for it. So this is coming into this game. This was my first Discord Survivor game. To be honest, I have used Discord for 6 years, whether it was with my cousins or with my stepbrother. So I know how all these channels and hub stuff works, but I want it engraved in people's minds that Kyle doesn't even know how to use Discord. How's he going to know how to play this game? I wanted to play that dumb card that people don't think I know what's going on. So I could be with people here and there. And I feel like I did that successfully throughout the game, because the only time my name was written down was at Final 4, meaning I made the right connections to get you. I made the right alliances, whether people feel burned by me or not. My strategic game speaks for itself with the fact that I'm still here clean through. And even with the challenges and idols part of the game, I kind of had to keep up that facade that I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know how Discord works. And I had to keep that mentality throughout the entire game. So yes, some challenges I did flop in, like that final endurance, I completely flopped in. But I intentionally threw challenges to keep that up with me. But the point where I'm not making it a facade is when we had that 2 tribal split where we were going head to head with somebody else and I was against Fabi. On God, 5 people messaged me and were like, oh, you're screwed, you're fucked, you're not winning against Fabi. I was like, okay, bet, Kyle, this is the one time you can prove people wrong. Sorry, Fabi, love you. But I went balls to the walls to win that challenge. Also, I did not want to go to that tribal so I could prolong playing in the middle against so many people. And then, sorry, I'm stressed. But yeah, like I said, like going back to the votes before that, going into merge, I also wanted to downplay my strategic position in the game because I was involved in the Eleanor and Jude alliance. I was involved in the Cassie, Polly, and Z alliance. I was involved with the alliance with Danny, the Spice Girls. And then I still had good rapport with Rocky, Owen, and Hyrie. So I was like, shit, how am I going to manage all of this? And then TJ, who became the new Rob to me, I knew I was in a good position at merge, that I can sort of play under the radar and navigate it through while still keeping up good rapport with everyone. So I intentionally voted in the minority at Final 12 and 11, knowing the 5 plans that were out there at Final 12. And I did that because I didn't want to vote with the majority and get targeted for voting with the minority, if that makes sense. And so in the Final 11 as well, I wanted to vote with the minority, finding out last minute that Z was going, to also give Z the courtesy of not being the one to send him out of the game. And I did explain that to him and Polly. But also to gain trust with people like Rocky, with Owen, and with Hyrie, who I didn't get the chance to prove trust with the round before. And so, so at Final 9 and 8, this is where the game got very tricky for me because this is where I was smack dab in the middle. Eleanor and Jude were also on different sides of what they think should happen. And I knew multiple people told me, Kyle, you need to decide like what's going to happen here. And I tried to integrate it in a way that like I'm getting rid of both targets from both sides and kind of keeping my middle position intact. And it worked because Cassie and Hyrie went out back to back. And it was hard because like I didn't want to vote Cassie at that point, but I had to figure out, okay, how am I going to preserve my relationships? Because I'd already saved Cassie once. I am going to save her again to screw over 3 people, and I needed to maintain the position. So that was a risk for me to lose Cassie, to take life into my own hands. Oh God, I got 2 minutes. But and so one thing I did at Final 9 was to really test my position. I wanted to see if the bonds and alliances I was making was fully intact. What I did was I threw my name out to Cassie and Polly to use as a decoy to throw to the other side. Meanwhile, my true intention was to see if people would come back to me with my name. Unfortunately, everybody came back to me with my name. And that's where I was like, okay, so I am in a power spot, but now I got to choose loyalties. And that's where I had to keep one side happy so I can make a move of them in future. Like that was my constant gameplay. I never wanted to put myself at the bottom of anything in this game. So I constantly had to maneuver between alliances. Was it beneficial to sit with Eleanor and Jude? Had I built a lot of trust with them? Absolutely, especially towards the end game. Like it made sense for us 3 to sit together. But I feel like I strategically dominated this game in a way that nobody knew or caught onto. And I feel like in a game where people were turning on each other with people they've been with the whole game and trying to like catch people out or clock people, the people that were identifying me as a threat or potentially in future had to go. So I think I had a good pulse on this game. Like I said, I'm ready for any critiques, comments, compliments, hopefully, about my game. And yeah, I genuinely love everyone in this game and I'm excited for how this night is gonna go. So thank you. Now I ended a lot way earlier than I thought I would.
Okay, thank you, Kyle, and thank you to all of the final 3. That is your opening statements done. Now's the fun part because we are going to turn over to the jury Jury, it is now going to be your time to have your say and ask your questions. The jury have already made their order. Jury, as a reminder, this is your time to ask whatever questions you need to decide how you're voting. You will each have 10 minutes for your jury questionings. I know that sometimes we will, if there is spare time left, there maybe can be some pooled time, but we will look into that, obviously not at this moment in time. But we are going to start with the first juror on our order, which is Danny. So Danny, if you would like to come on camera and off mute, now is your time for your jury questioning. I will pass it over to Meg as well.
I will start your 10 minutes whenever you start speaking.
Okay, perfect. First of all, I just want to say, final three, you all look stunning today. Jude, yellow is your color. You look gorgeous. Kyle, you look snazzy in that outfit. And Eleanor, you're beautiful as always. So my vote is open at the moment. You three are people that I wanted to see at the end. I felt like you three played an amazing game. But I do have two questions. One of them is general for all of you, and the second is for Eleanor specifically. So, which one should I start? Eleanor, do you want to do the one specifically for you first, or? Okay. So my question is, in an ideal world, how would you have wanted the final 9 vote to go?
Ooh, final 9? I wanted Tyree gone.
Tyree gone? Okay.
Oh, I wanted Tyree and his extra vote out of here. Yeah, no, I had to vote for Cassie as a compromise because Kyle and I both wanted to keep Cassie. I was so down for the Spice Girls. I wanted the girls to keep going. And Kyle and I had a talk like very last minute before Tribal where, because, I got brought in on, I don't know if you know, but I got brought in on the plan with Kyle, like throwing his name out there to vote Rocky. I got brought in on that last. And then I was like, okay, if this is the way to like get a threat out and keep Cassie, I'll do it. But then Kyle and I had a conversation and he was like, I don't think we can do this. And I was like, yeah, it would be risky to lose Jude. So we agreed not to. And that's why we ended up voting for Cassie.
Okay,
I
so
wanted Irene on there. Sorry, Irene.
so out of Cassie and Rocky, you were wanting Cassie gone.
No, out of Cassie and Rocky, I would prefer Rocky gone, but that would not have been the right move for my game. I was trying to get Rocky out. You know this, Danny, because I told you, I was trying to get Rocky out like around that 5-person vote. I was like talking to you and Fabi and Cassie, and I was like, you guys should take a shot at Rocky. And then, I wanted Rocky gone because I knew he was so close with Jude. He was tight with Tyree. He was tight with Owen. He was tight with Kyle. And those were like, that was not good for my game. But I had to make a compromise and adapt at that point because I knew that Jude was not riding with the Spice Girls. I knew that Kyle, and I had the same concern about flipping on Jude at that point. And so we decided to stick with this 3 and sadly let Cassie go.
Okay, that makes sense because I was a bit confused on if you did want Rocky gone, I asked you that round 5 times, who was the vote, and I was just very confused because you were like, oh, you already know who I'm voting for, good luck. And I was just like, well, I don't, come on, and if I did hear Rocky from you, I would have said, yeah, okay, I'll vote Rocky, and then that plan could have gone through because you said that the reason it didn't go through is because you thought I was voting Polly, but
I did
if you
think you were voting
gone in the
Polly.
end, and that makes sense. Huh? Sorry?
I did think you were voting Polly.
Yeah, but I don't know, because the only reason I didn't tell anyone I was voting Rocky was because Cassie told me 2 minutes before Tribal, but
Yeah.
that makes sense. I've got clarity on that. And so my question for everybody is, did you come into this final Tribal feeling like you had a 1 in 3 chance of winning, or were there subtle moves that you did to get a 1-up on your opponents? Kyle?
I can go first. That's a good question. I knew Jude and Eleanor's game was more obvious, and I was told that throughout the game. If I'm going to make FTC, I need to exhibit more. I know if I could have the time limit for the opening speeches be an hour, I would, so I could explain my whole game. But I wanted to fully show in my opening speech how I had more of a strategic pulse in more of the groupings than these two. Not to get the one hand up on them. I know they're my competitors, but coming into this FTC, I was very open-minded of like the jury's perceptions of us and how I can deal with that personally. Because I do, at the end of the day, we like are a trio, but we all played very individual games in different circumstances of the game. And I wanted to prove that from my side, like strategically and socially. So yeah, I try to get the one up by showing what I actually did in the game, because I feel like my game was more hidden the entire time, and I was waiting for this moment to kind of blossom into a flower and kind of tell you guys like what I've been doing. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. Jude?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say intentionally trying to one up others. So I did walk into this knowing that I have a 1 in 3 shot of winning, which is fine with me. I like gambling. I'm just kidding, I don't like gambling, but I did like, I know we talked about jury management a lot throughout like the merge votes, every single merge like council, that was the question, merge jury management. So I would like pitch to my trio that I would intentionally vote in the minority to either A, keep the connection with the other people who are still here, or to, you know, not make the person who left devastated. So I did not that it was the best jury management, but that was something that I did try to do, not to get a one up, but just something, you know, that would improve my chances over.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so when I made this final 3 like early in the merge, I honestly didn't really think I had that good of a shot to win. But I was like, if I can't, I want Jude and Kyle. Like, I want to go with them. I want like them to win. As the game progressed, I think that I became the most obvious threat out of the 3 of us. And that was kind of seen at 6, where they took a shot at me. So I was like, okay, great. So my 1 in 3 shot, I would say it went from like 33% to like 45%. I don't think I have like necessarily a better shot, because I really don't know where the jury stands right now. I definitely didn't like pander. The only person who I like really wanted to like go out on a good note with was Cassie. And also, Danny, I did get on a call with Cassie and tell her I would be voting for her before tribal council. So I'm sorry that that didn't get relayed back to you, but I thought that we knew. So that was because that was the vote that was really hard for me. So I did like do that. But other than that, like I took a huge risk by not pandering to the jury. I know that I didn't play a super close game with a lot of them because I couldn't put myself out there as a social threat. I was already the physical threat and strategic threat. I could not be the most likable person in this trio. And I intentionally like tried to sort of decrease my social threat level.
Okay. That's actually a good. I'll ask one more question if that's okay. Because Eleanor, you inspired me. What was your confidence like level coming in? Like, did you think? Because Eleanor said she thought she had like a 45% chance. Like, how are you feeling about your chances of winning, Jude and Kyle?
Can I say like, and I don't mean to sound corny, but I do think that I win either way. Like either if I win by votes, like that's good. But if Kyle or Eleanor wins, like I am so happy for them. And I think that sounds really corny, but like I genuinely mean that. So I was like, I woke up this morning stressed, and then like as like we did hop on another like one more call, like the 3 of us before we went, and I was like, you know, like I am so happy that I've like this will go down, and I've only played 5 orgs, which is a low amount. This is my 5th one. This will go down as the best org I've played. So regardless, I thought that I played it the best I could. I know I had mistakes. I know there were moments I should have rethought what I was doing, but I know what I need to learn from if I do play again. But this, like, I don't know, like it sounds corny, but I win either way, especially because I sat next to Kyle and Eleanor, and I love the way I play this game. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And Kyle?
I just want to echo that a little bit. Like, this is not my 5th game. This is my like 43rd game. my first on Discord. But I've never seen a group of 3 people vote together so much, and like even at one point not even want to work together, hashtag final 9, final 8, and still make it here. I would say I'm gonna give the cliche answer. I would be happy if they won. Obviously, like I'm fighting for myself here, but I'm gonna give a cliche answer, and I'm gonna say 33,333.
Okay, thank you. That's all I wanted to know. Yeah, again, just I'm proud of all of you. You've all played amazingly. I'll be happy to see any of you win. I'm still undecided. I'm still undecided on my vote. And just know that the jury isn't like leaning one way or another. I think you all have your supporters. I'm a supporter of all three of you. So yeah, good luck for the rest of the tribal.
Okay, thank you so much, Danny. So we are going to move on to our next jury member, and that is Davey. So Davey, if you'd like to come on camera, there he is. Right, Meg, passing it over to you.
Hi. I have genuinely missed all three of you. I feel like I played closely with all three of you in some regards. I think one of the worst things about going at 12 was just feeling bored and not like being able to play with you all. I feel like maybe in another world, we would play together further in the game. I don't know, Eleanor, but because you just like whatever. I want to take a chance to talk with all three of you really quick before I ask my question. I'll start with Eleanor. I know that the relationship between Hyrie and I was scary, but it was kind of like an unspoken kind of put together thing because we had played together before. But I was very open to working together, and I knew at the Mona vote that I would vote against Mona because I really wanted to work with you and Jude. So I hope that there wasn't any indication that I wouldn't have like worked with you. And I do feel like on one of our calls, I had to like get on the train, and like even though I was already seated on the train, we were still talking, and I felt like so bad and I didn't want to end the conversation, because I really genuinely liked talking to you, and it was sad to like cut out in the station, and then we didn't really ever have like a conversation again, but. I wanted to say I really respect your game, and you have dethroned me as a record breaker because I had previously won 5 challenges. So
I know.
congrats, girl. Congrats,
Thank
girl.
you.
You're welcome. I'm gonna go to Jude. Jude, you are someone that I have felt such a kinship with, like from the moment we first talked to the moment that we, like shared all, like every single call we had was genuine, full of insight, full of, just wanting to get to know each other. I could see us being friends. I mean, I could see myself being friends with everybody here. I just really enjoyed our conversations and the way that you made me feel. Um, Super proud of you. And, let a girl know when you're in New York or the East Side. Yeah. And hopefully you're still bowling because that seemed really cool. I'm gonna go to Kyle. Kyle, why do you love me?
Why do you love me?
Really missed you. I have heard a lot from the jury on like their insight of you, and I feel like the way that I played with you also kind of matches. I felt like after the Mona round, after you voted for me, you did a lot of work to rebuild that relationship, rebuild that trust, and I genuinely respect what you've done. And yeah, just nothing but love and respect here. My vote is open, and you'll see why with my jury question. Okay, so everybody can unmute. I have 4 categories, and I'll. Yeah,
Uh-oh,
I have
not-
4. I'm sorry, what?
I said not categories.
Yeah, I have 4 categories, and on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the best, I want you to honestly rate yourself on that category. And maybe at the end, if we have, I mean, we'll have time. We have like 6 minutes, but if you feel so inclined to elaborate on one of them, you can. Okay, so the first category is maneuvering the game during setbacks. Anybody can like go first.
I'd give myself like an 8 or a 9 for that one.
8 or 9?
I'll say, let's say 8.
Okay.
I'll give myself a 9.5.
Okay.
I give myself a 7.
Okay. Desire to work with me.
10.
9 after.
Four, and this is the one I want to elaborate on. Should I go real quick or wait?
We'll go at the end.
Yeah.
I'll put a star next to that. Connections with the people in the jury.
5.
Like social connect. Oh,
Actually,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a clarification. Yeah, what kind of connections?
Like your ability to connect with the members on the jury.
Oh, okay. I'll go with the 7. Or actually, let me go with the 6.
I'm gonna go boldly and say 8.5.
And then your luck.
2.
You're gonna do
9.
2, Kyle?
Yeah.
9. I could elaborate on this too because I don't
Okay.
consider a person.
Okay. Eleanor?
I will say, I think 7.
Okay. Kyle, I'm gonna go think about which one you want to elaborate on. Eleanor, why did you want to elaborate on your desire to work with me?
Yeah, this kind of goes with my like social connection answer too. Davey, I loved you. We had like a very short call. We had barely talked, but we were sending videos back and forth and voice messages. And I knew if I liked you that much in that short amount of time, and you were as well connected to the like on the swap tribe to like both the Cabra 2.0 and the Pekena 2.0, I knew when the merge came that like you were going to be such a big threat that I was like, I can't get too close to Davey because I know I'm going to cut him like as soon as the merge comes. So I felt like it would be kind of like rude. Kind of a similar thing with my social strategy with a lot of the people on the jury. I know that this like could bite me in the butt, but I felt like I didn't want to get super, super emotionally close with people that I knew weren't working with me long term. So like people like Owen and Rocky and Owen and Rocky were the big ones where I like intentionally kind of sat back because I was the physical threat. I was the strategic threat. I couldn't be a social threat as well. So that was my like strategy there. It could hurt me here and that's okay.
Okay. Jude, why do you want to elaborate on luck?
Yeah, I actually think I'm generally not an unlucky person, but like, yeah, I don't know. So, like, I don't think I have the best luck, but with the idol hunt especially, I knew Eleanor was a big contender, right? And I guess like I don't like certain circumstances happened that I luckily allowed me to get that idol first. I think the same way with the second idol, right? Like I think it was pretty lucky on how I was able to find it. Also, I guess before Eleanor's always been my top contender for these idols. But yeah, and like Skull is like I would rate that as like a 3 out of 5 luck-based game. So like just the moves I made, like and I guess those were some of them were calculated, but like that first big bet I took, that was all luck, right? But yeah, I don't know. I think maybe 9. And then I guess, oh sorry, biggest part of luck is the swap tribes, right? Is I was like actually scared that I would end up on a tribe with Jonathan because Jonathan was the person I connected with the least. And, you know, that would put us in maybe a tricky situation. So it was lucky that I especially ended up with you, although like my top choices were Rocky and you, Davey. Like, sorry, Eleanor, you were great ad, but like, yeah. Yeah, so I guess that was lucky in that case. I would have been even luckier if I swapped onto Pekena 2.0 because that would have been my second idol. But yeah.
Okay. And Kyle.
If I have to elaborate on one, I'm gonna elaborate on the 8.5 out of 10 for connections to the jury. This is a complicated one for me because I feel like I had very different relationships with every jury member. But whether it was social or strategic, I try to keep up rapport. Like, hey, we aren't working together, but let's talk about your dog, or let's talk about your life, or let's talk about what you're eating for dinner, type of thing. Like, I was always keeping up good social rapport to at least they can say they had a conversation with me. And then strategically, like just knowing what people are doing, being in this grouping, being in that grouping, like trying to figure out where everything is going from there. If I can explain quickly, the luck thing.
You got 30 seconds.
Okay. The luck thing, I gave it a 2 because I swapped into a minority like from the whole Bekwena tribe except for Rob, and then Rob got taken out of the game. And then with the challenges at Merge, yes, I did throw some, but all of them were like mental and logical, and I wasn't good at that. So I I don't know, with the challenge portion and the tribe swaps, I gave it a 2. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I want everyone to take a deep breath. I know that this part of the game can be very, very intense. It can also be very rewarding, and just sit in the accomplishment that you were able to make it this far. I'm super proud of all of you. Keep in touch and let the best finalist win. Have a great night.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Davey. We're going to keep things moving and we're going to go on to our next juror, which I believe is Owen. Owen, you're up.
All right. I'm good to go.
Okay.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Yep. The timer started? Ah!
It starts when you start talking.
Oh, I'm talking first. Okay, hello. Final 3. You all look beautiful and lovely and wonderful. Congratulations on making it to the end of the game with your trio intact. That is a very impressive feat. It's not something you see all the time. While I wouldn't say the existence of your trio was a secret, you all did a great job of distracting us from the red flags long enough to tip the scales in your favor. So good for you. I also think some aggressive competition wins by one of you and a clutch idle play really helped your odds. However, your end game plans are a bit of a double-edged sword because sitting at the end as a trio now means you need to differentiate your game from the very people who ensured that you got here. You've given us a very difficult task. One important point, never underestimate the integrity of a jury because at the end of the day, most of us do want to vote for the best player, not our friends. I will be casting my vote for the person who I think played the best game, and that is my only metric for casting my vote. So I will be asking you each a question. I'm going to start with Eleanor. So Eleanor, you started by saying, or you in Davey's question said that you mentioned Rocky and I and keeping us separate and at bay. And one comment I have for you is that part of the reason, actually, no, I'm going to ask my question first and then we'll talk about this. Why you said to me round after round after round that you were trying to build trust with me, but it just wasn't happening. So I want to know, in your words, why do you think we didn't work together in this game, and why did that trust never get built?
Oh, I know exactly why. The first call we ever got on, I lied to your face because I didn't know that you could see who was in the idol hunt yet. And so when you gave me that command, it was like near the end of that like week or the second week. So I had like already been in there for a while, like bopping around doing my thing. And I didn't know that other people could see. So when you gave it to me, I was like, okay, this is a little late. I don't think he actually just found it. So I'm just going to play dumb. That was my strategy going into the game, was to like really, really like lower my intelligence to people. And so I played dumb and I lied to you. And I found out, I think even before the merge, about that you knew I was lying. I think Jude told me, or somebody told me first round of the merge. So I knew, and I tried to get ahead of it, but then I voted for you. And I was like, Owen's not going to get over this. Like we all 3 of us voted for him. But I did try to reach out to you. I would have loved to make a move with you to like try to take somebody like Hyrie or Rocky out, but I genuinely didn't think you were going to do that. I think your big move was going to be to take out me or Jude. So I came to the conclusion that like Owen is not somebody I can work with, although I do really like you. And I would have voted for you if you were in the final 3.
Cool. Yeah, thank you for that. I think that was a pretty good answer. It's funny that you, just something to point out is that through all of Merge, you would come into our one-on-ones and you would tell, I want to build trust with you and Rocky.
Mm-hmm.
And I you never gave me an opportunity to just be Owen with you. And
Yeah.
from my perspective, I think that's partly why. But no, I think you're right. I think by the time we got to Merge, I don't think our games were on the same side. And
Yeah.
you're right, I would have voted for Rocky and Hyrie. Okay, that's about it for my question for you. Kyle, I said to you at Final 5 that you were taking a huge risk going to Final 3 with your trio. Your game wasn't flashy, but the more we chat in jury, the more I know there is a lot under the surface. So my question for you is this. Do you think either of your allies here would have made it to Final 3 without your actions or moves? If no, give specific answers. I want a specific move. If yes, you think they would have gotten here without you, why did you choose these 2 to sit next to?
That is a very complex question that I want to give a very complex answer to. So like in different aspects of the game, I think all three of us think we wouldn't have made it here without each other. I think that the final 9 and final 8 was the moment that these two drifted apart and that they considered me their number one. And I think they can both attest to that. They were not on the same page with each other. Like Jude was drifting towards one side, Eleanor was drifting to each other, and you got me in the middle with everyone being like, I'll go wherever the sun shines. I will go where the best move is for me to go. So I do not think that if I hadn't been a big part in trying to get the vote back on track, like we cannot get rid of Eleanor, or we cannot get rid of Jude, we cannot do this, we need to keep it together and I still had that conversation with Jude. Like I said to her, look, Jude, this is good, which Rocky actually clocked that. I said to Jude, Hyrie needs to go next. I said, this is going to set us up perfectly for live night because we will have Polly and Danny, who I still feel like other people will want to take out, and we can maneuver 2 final 6 together. Idols and challengers, sure, we're on their side, but I had the strategy of other people trusting me more than they trusted them. So I maneuvered that way. And then what was the second part of your question?
Oh, no, I think it's fine because you, oh, hi, TJ. This is my question period.
Take off
Out of my
camera.
core.
Thank you.
No, the second part of the question, no, it was an either or. You answered the first part. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, Jude. I actually had a different question, but I changed it based on your opening speech because there's a bit of a revelation there. So, Jude, I meant what I said before my elimination. I think you've played a really great game. I also think you've given yourself a difficult task of differentiating your game from Eleanor and Kyle's, particularly Eleanor's. So I would like to know from a strategic perspective, why did you decide that you should save Eleanor at final 6 and not Rocky? What was the strategic reason for because it sounds like it was very much a juncture point. So I would like to know why you saved Eleanor over Rocky.
Okay, so I think at that point, Eleanor has shown me a lot of trust. And while Rocky has shown me like nothing but loyalty, I did make a promise to only one of them. And that was to Eleanor so like this wasn't strategic. It was all personal, which could have affected the way it went down later on. I could have maybe not have been sitting there if I was aligned there. I did have a conversation with Rocky, and I did tell him that I would like not to vote for him. And he did not express that back to me. And then I also talked to Kyle where I heard that same thing. Rocky told Kyle that exact notion that I said that, but without saying the part that he wouldn't vote for me back. So I was like, okay, I know Eleanor does have my back explicitly, especially since the fact I've given her the idol twice, right? So it seemed like, and while I know Eleanor's challenge abilities were phenomenal, right? So I did have a plan going into final 3 that would ensure that I would have a spot at the end, as long as as long as you did not win F5 and as long as Polly didn't win F4. So then I had a clear, straightforward plan, and I wasn't sure exactly how it was going to go with Rocky. So it was a little rocky, if you will. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I don't know. It was a difficult decision because I love Rocky as a person. But yeah, so I guess it wasn't only personal, it was strategic, and I knew this would kind of finalize my plan as long as, like, I guess Kyle and Eleanor also stuck to it. So it was a lot of blind trust, but it would have been more blind if I had taken Rocky instead of Eleanor at that. Yeah.
All right. And then I have one last quick question. This is for Jude and Kyle. Legitimately, and I don't need a long answer, just a quick answer. Legitimately, if Eleanor had not won all of those immunities in a row, do you think you still would have gone this far with her?
I would say yes and no. I know, I guess like the F9 one, like the vote around where Cassie went out. I think that was where Eleanor hurt her social game just a little bit, and I think that wouldn't have happened if she hadn't won immunity, right? She said her initial plan was to go under the radar, which I think would have worked out well. I don't know how everything would have went down though, but I do think that her dimming like in her social game to like increase the other 2 parts helped us a lot. And so I think that, yeah, but I don't know, we might have been first to turn on each other at some point.
Kyle?
So I think Eleanor needed to win like immunity at final 9 and final 8 because I think like the way she went about that round, I think everyone was willing to vote her out at that point. I think Judy included. I think me, I was like, girl, I was like in a very weird place. So I think she needed to win. And if people are saying Eleanor, Eleanor, and even Jude, if Jude had to say to me Eleanor, Eleanor would have gone. Yeah. I probably would have told her, but yeah.
No, it's okay. Yeah, so Eleanor, mad respect for taking your agency into your own hands and making sure you were safe those rounds. Congratulations to all three of you. I legitimately love all of you. I think any of you winning is a great representation of the season. It's been a blast getting to know you all, and whatever happens here tonight, just know that you all played fantastic games. So thank you.
Thanks, Owen.
Okay, thank you so much, Owen. Okay, we are going to now move on to our fourth juror. You did just see him earlier. It's TJ.
TJ.
Okay. Hey guys, how are you?
Good.
Good.
First of all, give it up for Professor X. Thank you very much for your questioning for the final three. Congratulations to the three of you for making it this far. You are the messiest sluts of Triumph Season 10. There have been a lot. I've missed you guys. There've been lots of conflicts to navigate, and you're really committing time to end up where you are. So it's a big deal. And I was lucky enough to be able to spend a few days with you. I can't even remember how long it was, but it was like it felt like years ago now. And I would have hoped in that time that we each would have had the opportunity to get to know each other a little bit. And I think that's actually correct. And that you might have even considered me as part of your game at some point, even though it didn't end up going that way. My favorite part about playing with you guys is actually the laughs. And I don't know if any of you were on that call when Lewis was on and he kept changing his little avatar. That for me was the highlight of my game. So as far as my question goes, I have three. The first one, so developing bonds, and I know that's hard doing this online. It's hard to make that truly organic. And the first question would be, I would like to know, out of the people on the jury, which one of you was emotionally the hardest, and why? Who it was and why? And then I have another question at the very end that I will come back to. But before that, and because I believe being able to laugh at ourselves is the best way to move past any conflict and get closure on something. For my question 2, I'd like you to give me a response on to become the next Triumph winner. I think they need to know how to read the room. And in the grand tradition of the legendary documentary Paris is Burning, the library is about to be open. And using what you know about me, I would love you to read me and roast me as hard as you can. To give you some time to think about it, I'm going to take a couple of swipes at the jury really quickly. So here we go. Cassie and C, you guys have been spending so much time in the jury voice call that Discord is about to charge you guys rent. Davey, fancy dress at every opportunity, I guess is a cheaper way of having a midlife crisis than buying a car. Owen, more like, oh, when? When will you finally get your shit together? And an actor and a real estate agent, I guess you're used to pretending things are worth more than they really are. You're so used to fake smiles, bad scripts, and selling things that nobody really wants. And for you three, Kyle, edibles are not a food group. Eleanor, Portland knitting and all night drinking at the bar is just you stitching together bad decisions. And Jude, congratulations on turning your home into a museum of unfulfilled dreams. So, on that note, take the order amongst yourselves and do your worst and absolutely kill me.
You won't get offended, TJ.
Absolutely not. You cannot. I can take a punch. Everybody knows this.
Okay.
Go ahead. Oh, come on. You know me better than that.
I don't.
Okay, I'll go first. TJ, the fact that you made it through one tribal in Bomb Bomb is worrying the hell out of me. It makes me really wonder what the hell those Bon Bon people were doing to make you make it to a tribe swap. I think you were the messiest player in this game, and you will always have that title, even at Final 13. Like, Eleanor called me the new TJ, and that was the biggest diss in this game towards me. I will not accept that slander. But yeah, you're juror number 1 for a reason. Should have been first boot for a reason.
Damn.
I don't know how to follow up with that. Like,
Okay,
that's
okay.
insane.
I have
I love you,
one.
TJ.
Okay. TJ, if you can afford Aesop cologne, you should really stop wearing the same button up and t-shirt every day. Is that not good?
Oh my gosh. Guys, my dad's in the other room. I can't remember like that.
Also, I have used your name as an insult for
I
Kyle.
would, okay, I think well, TJ, you look amazing for your age. Your age is a thing, so we have been calling you Grandpa TJ. I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm bad at roasting people. But I did also elect you as the messiest slut for Mayor Ponderosa, even though I didn't have my vote. I was like, why did I say that word? My dad's here. Anyway, yeah. It was weak, but
it's a bummer your grandson got voted out so early in the game.
Oh my God. Oh my
Oh
God,
my-
you guys heard about that. Can we go back to the first question? So that was super fun. I really enjoyed it. And that was, like I said, able for us to sort of get past whatever happened. Nothing, I didn't have any bad blood with anyone, but I just wanted you guys all to be able to laugh at this. So talk about the worst vote that you had really quickly before we run out of time.
worst vote as in like hardest
Your
vote.
most emotional
Oh.
vote. I think there's a lot of opportunity for the three of you to actually win over some votes in the jury right now.
Mine was Cassie.
And why?
We had an all-girls alliance, me, Jude, Cassie, Danny. We also had an all-girls alliance, including Kyle. There were 2 of them. And I was going to ride with that alliance. I thought that my allies were too. So I thought, oh, great, we'll have the majority of a 5-person alliance. And I really enjoyed Cassie and Danny. The little we got to talk, I also enjoyed. So and I really thought that it wasn't going to be Cassie until really close to tribal. And that was really hard because I did have to go back on something that I did like give her my word that I was going to go with that alliance and that group of girls. So that was like very, very hard for me. She's also the person that I definitely like got to know the most in the game. She knows a lot about me. I learned a lot about her. And I think that was kind of part of why I didn't really sync as deeply with other people, was because that was so hard. I was like, oh great, now if I like get closer to everybody else, I'm gonna have to do that all over again and all over again. So yeah, it was kind of selfish, but yeah, that was my hardest vote.
Okay, Kyle and Jude.
My hardest vote would be was voting Rocky. I did express to the trio before that I don't want to write Rocky's name down ever. And like, you know, if he was gonna go out, I wanted it to be through an idle play because and this was like, you know, purely an emotional sense, right? Strategically, it doesn't make any sense at all. And they called me out for it. So that round where I not only wrote his name down, but it was through the idle play. So it was set up in the exact way I wanted it to happen, except I wrote his name down and like I went back on like something that I said to him. And I think that I don't know, I'd feel devastated if it was me. So it really hurt to put him in that position. And then especially at the end of live night or like right before the vote, he asked like, I think it was Kyle, me and Polly to not vote for him, even if Eleanor had the idol. And of course, me and Kyle did go back on that. And I believe Polly voted for Eleanor, which was a good, was also like, he respected Rocky's word. So I feel devastated that I did that because Rocky was my day one. So yeah, it wasn't very, it was hard to do.
Kyle?
I'm not gonna lie, there were a lot of sad votes. I'm gonna go ahead and I hate to echo Eleanor, but I'm gonna say Cassie. That like I knew everybody wanted Cassie out of the game. Like she was gonna win. Everyone said it every single round. She was gonna win. Like even if people have strong connections in the final 3, like the obvious threat throughout the entire game was Cassie. And I feel like she was putting a lot of trust in the few people that gave her the opportunity to like want to work with her, like the Spice Girls, like me and Eleanor that vote, like, and that was fucking hard. It was like voting out my sister. And after that, like I was so used to like hopping on VCs, the Tribe VC, she would get the party pumping, and then there was no like really any party. It was like, let's party at a funeral. But I like that was like genuinely voting out like a big sister of mine, but it's kind of where I had to separate my head from my heart kind of thing.
Okay, I only have 50 seconds left, so this is going to be a really quick one-word answer. Pretend you are the final juror and there's a final two between the three of you, right? Get it? Who do you vote for? 30 seconds.
Between the other two?
hmm Based
Ooh,
on what you've heard, based on what you know and what you've heard so far, really quickly. 30
Kyle.
seconds.
Kyle.
Dude,
Thank you, guys. Good luck.
love you, TJ.
Thanks, DJ.
Okay, thank you, TJ. Okay, we are going to move on to our fifth juror, which is Z.
Hello. So apologies for not being on camera. My back has once again decided that it is made from old crisp packets. So you will just have to imagine the wonky smirk and quizzical raised eyebrow for yourselves. Secondly, very quickly, just my right of reply to TJ. TJ, you're what happens when queers get too old to be twinks but are too broke to be daddies. I would like to congratulate all three of you on making it here. All three of you did what we couldn't. I have no bitterness whatsoever towards any of you. But I am going to break, well, most of the standard protocols of a final tribal in several ways, and you'll see how. First of all, I'm going to tell you what your likelihood of getting my vote was coming into this tribal. I would have put Eleanor at around 40%, Kyle at around 35%, and Jude at around 25%. So I want to be clear, my vote is open. Anyway, I'm going to tell you how I perceive your game and something that irritated me about it. I'm then going to give each of you an equal amount of time to answer the same question. So first of all, Kyle, I think that despite you making it into a final three with an alliance, you basically played the ultimate floater game. You moved around from group to group. Your primary focus was managing your reputation, and I think you did a good job of it. But with it being a floater game, some people respect that, some people don't. I think you are going to split opinion. My irritation was that a lot of the time you would constantly say things like, oh, I'm worried about you and Cassie. I'm worried about you and Parley in terms of where you fit in with it. Ultimately, it irritated me a bit because I could tell all along that you were working with other people. You were projecting your paranoia onto me, despite the fact that it would have been us that had the right to carry that paranoia. Eleanor, I think you have played a strong physical game. I think there have been moments of good strategy. I think on a personal level, I always enjoyed your company. However, I think when social tipped into game, you became a sledgehammer. It wasn't subtle, it wasn't pretty, and sometimes it did a lot of damage. I think my primary irritation with you was that you said because of your autism, you really appreciate direct comments and things to be very straightforward and simple. I don't feel like that's what you delivered in votes. You were often cryptic. You often went round the houses. I think you basically asked for something and didn't have the decency to return it. Jude, for you, I think from what I can tell, you played a strong strategic game. You also had a good social game with certain people. I didn't feel like we had that. I felt that I was very often an afterthought for you, which in some ways is fair enough. You can't manage every relationship in the game. I think what irritated me was on the vote I went home. The vote before it, you when you knew I was getting votes, you came to me afterwards and said, "Look, I just didn't want to lie to you. I don't like talking to people when I know they're getting votes." And I said, "I respect that because I'm much the same way." However, when I was going home, you messaged me, you extended an olive branch, you said you wanted to work together, you left me quite a long voice note, and when I replied, you iced me for the entire rest of the round. So you basically went back on all the things that we'd said and agreed on in the previous vote. That being said, as I say, no bitterness, it's all game. Could I get a time check from Megan, please? Because I can't see the timer.
5 minutes.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to give each of you 90 seconds then to answer the following question. It's not really even a question, to be honest. I think a lot of the time jurors come in asking questions that are either designed to make you look stupid or to make a point that they already know the answer to. So mine is simply this: to tell me something or multiple somethings that you think I don't already know that might make you think that might make me think differently about your game. Kyle, I'll start with you.
90 seconds, right?
Yep.
Okay, so that was pretty hard to hear, but I'm gonna try and get my thoughts out. I feel like people knew I was in different places, but I don't fully think people knew that I was here and there. And these like social bonds that I was building was real, but like strategy and like the social game are kind of battling my heart, where I had to kind of figure out what is the best path moving forward. Something you wouldn't know about my game is I think the the whole Discord thing. I mean, we started on a tribe with 7 dudes. I think you were the biggest one trying to help me with Discord and stuff, and I like try to play down to that, and I'm like, help me, help, help. As soon as my like South Africanness stopped its blackout power bullshit. But I think I did say it in the beginning, but I wasn't sure if you knew that before. Like the whole Discord, like I don't know how to do this, was not it. I knew how to work all this. I knew how to work the platform. So I think that was a good like subtle move, subtle strategy to like kind of play down.
Okay, I will say I was pretty confident that was the case, and you will not win any Oscars with your acting. Eleanor, go.
Hi, I'd like to talk about the round you went home, Z. I wasn't sure who I wanted to go home that round at first, but there was supposed to be a tie between you and Polly was supposed to go home on the revote. I knew that you were in a lot of alliances that I was not in, just because I had a lot of information in the game. So I talked to very specific people and got them to flip their votes from Polly to you, because I was sus. I was like, well, it was supposed to be Z, and now it's Polly all of a sudden. More people are working with Z than I thought. So I told you I was doing as I was told that round. I believe that's the last thing I said to you. That's not the case. I kind of masterminded you being the majority that round. I think I got Owen to flip. I told Cassie to vote for you. I told you and Polly to vote for each other. So yeah, I did kind of play dumb intentionally. I don't know if you clocked that or not, but that was a big part of why that day was so dancing around it, was because I was putting in work to send you home, and I'm really sorry, but you were a threat for me, so yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was something I was suspicious of at the time, but couldn't confirm. I did find that out from the jury members, so you haven't told me anything I don't know now, but Jude, go.
So this is hard because I don't know if there is anything that like you definitely wouldn't know. I wasn't making any secret moves. I know that round that you did go home, I did genuinely want to work with you, even though like we did discuss as a trio that you were probably going to be the next vote. So after I sent that message and then we talked as a trio, I couldn't feel like I did say, like I did not want to continue that notion of like just lying to your face, especially since like you were probably the most straightforward player, I think, in this game. So I something that you don't know, I actually genuinely don't know if I have a good answer. I know I had like all this time to think about it, but I don't think I have a good answer. Like I feel like any gaps, like I feel like our games are probably the most separate between like it compared to the other finalists as Eleanor and Kyle. So I don't want to take up any more time. I don't think I have an answer for this. I'm sorry.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I can say that at this point, my vote is still open. So keep fighting hard for it, and I wish all three of you the best of luck. That's me done.
Thanks, Z. Okay, so you are halfway through. You have still got 5 jurors left. So we are going to move on to juror number 6, which is Fabi.
Hello. First of all, cheers. Obviously, I'm gonna drink. I don't know what but and congratulations to the three of you. As I felt like I was in alliance with the three of you together in Keisha Cuties. It's been the old days. It feels like it's been years. I feel super proud of all three of you. Also, none of you voted me out, so also it's always a good thing. Yeah, for me, I'm gonna ask you some questions because for me, I play these games because I'm from Germany and I get to meet people from all around the world I usually wouldn't meet. And so the social aspect of getting to know things about people. So the first part of this is gonna be uh, each of you has to tell me 3 things they learned about any juror except me throughout this game.
I'm gonna steal this going first.
And you can't repeat. So whatever someone else said, you can repeat that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I love asking questions. I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I love asking questions. There was a round where I want to know everyone's secret skill, or not secret, just something that they don't outwardly display. So like, I guess we're not including you, Fabi, but I do want to say your fact is that you have a bottomless stomach for alcohol, which I think is insane. Like I want to never challenge you in drinking competition, but going on to everyone else, I learned that Polly can recognize any flag. We literally quizzed him on this. This was really interesting. Rocky is amazing at Vogue. He sent a video and everything. Hyrie can blend in with any tourist groups and he travels a lot, or he travels he travels a lot, I think. So I thought that was really cool. And I don't know if I could keep going. I could keep going,
No,
but I don't want to steal
no,
other
we
facts.
only do 3. Okay. Next one. I don't know who wants to go.
I can go. Okay, let's see. I know that Hyrie served 2 years of compulsory military service where he was class A, which means he was super fit. I know that who else? I know that TJ, your dog's names are Harry and Poppy. Who else? Let's see, somebody. Z, maybe I owe you a little niceties. You're allergic to caffeine, you're a Luddite, so you don't have a phone, and you love your fidget cube. That was 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kyle?
Okay, so 3 jurors, just one thing about them. Okay. I'm gonna go to TJ first, and this is something we really bonded over. We're both very into tennis. I don't know where it is now, but I bought a new one today. We're both very into tennis, and we both were working on journalism and teaching. So we both, we were both in the same career field as well. So that was pretty cool to bond over with someone like that. Davey, I learned that Davey, like when I was talking with him about edibles and stuff, he's a big hookah fan, and that was so cool. And then another one, I'm gonna say Owen. I learned a lot about Owen's family, and he learned a lot about mine. I learned a lot about his mom and his siblings and things like that. So it was very cool to get his perspective on family versus mine.
Okay, thanks. So second part, is now gonna be about me. So I want to know what you've learned about me. And for that, you get to choose your question. I have 4 questions. You get to choose a number between 1 and 4. Uh, whoever wants to go first, can choose a number.
I'll take 2.
Okay, 2. That's number 2. What do I do for a living? What do I do for work?
Oh, you work in like national tourism for Germany. So I think you do marketing in there. So you work with like attracting tourists to come visit Germany.
Okay, yeah, correct. Who wants to go next?
I'll take number 3.
3. What's my favorite drink?
Oh, wait, I can't remember the name of it. But it is like a herb. Oh, it's Jägermeister. Jaeger. Is that your favorite drink, or that's the one that you told me your drink of choice was?
It was one I was drinking, so my favorite, but I like it. So
Okay.
my favorite is vodka, by the way, I think.
It's just straight vodka.
So, yeah, or vodka lemon if I have to mix. Kyle?
I was gonna say quickly, I thought it was lemon vodka, Long Island iced tea, or wine. But oh Jesus, that was my question. I'm gonna say 1.
Okay. How old am I?
You know what, Fabi? You're a stunning 21.
Well, which almost. Okay. I'm 28, but yeah. Just go. And then I have 4.5 minutes. Yeah. Next question for all of you is, and I guess we're gonna start with Kyle this time. I want you to give me one name of a juror you think you have the most likely to get a vote from and least likely to get a vote from tonight, and why. So Kyle, you start.
Can I base it off how this final tribal's been going?
On whatever you like.
Okay, I'm gonna say least likely to get is C, which is wild because I thought coming into this he might have been open to like me specifically, but I'm gonna say least likely is C just based on his answer towards me. And then most likely, I'm going to say, this is tough. I don't want to assume. I'm gonna say Owen.
Okay. Eleanor?
Okay. Let's see. I think least likely I would say Rocky. And I think most likely, oh, that one's really tough. Most likely I'm gonna go with you know what? I'm also gonna try to go for Owen's vote. Sorry, Kyle.
Okay.
Okay.
Jude?
Also based on this, and I guess coming into this, my least likely is Z. We had a conversation where we listed everyone's votes, to be honest. And I wasn't confident, and like I don't think it's ever helpful to be confident, but I guess I'd say most likely is Davey. So hope I'm not assuming, but yeah.
Okay. Thanks for that. Before I have 2 minutes, just some statements because I felt like I enjoyed playing with all 3 of you. Obviously, Eleanor and Jude, I only played a few rounds with y'all, but Jude, I felt like the time we talked and how we interacted, I felt like from what I got to know you, you were like a really rational and calm person, which I like, and people at least towards me. So thank you for that, Eleanor. I respect people. I mean, I was the comp piece before I got voted out, so I have all respect for people that do their best in challenges and win and win and win. So honestly, respect for that. I wish I could have done that. And then Kyle, I have to say, when the game first started, I and Prod will know this. You were almost one of the reasons why I enjoyed the pre-swap as much as I did because it was a tough road for me. So thank you for being like the safe haven in the first part of the game. To all 3 of you, good luck. I love all 3 of you, and maybe we can have a drink after this. Good.
Not lemon vodka.
Whatever you
Amazing.
want.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Fabi. Okay, we are going to go on to juror number 7, and that is Cassie. So, Cassie, coming up.
Well, hey, lovely finalists. I am so proud of all three of you guys. This is the final three that I looked at and I said, well, this is wonderful and it sucks because it's wonderful because I will be happy for whoever wins out of the three of you. I think you are all three deserving, and I think you guys are all doing a fairly good job tonight. So thanks for making it harder. Um, and yeah, I mean, I'm bummed out because I don't know who I'm going to vote for. So my vote is very much up for grabs. Yeah, like I have no idea. So you guys have the rest of tribal council to convince me, because I'm convinced that all three of you could win, and that's not an option. So let's well, let's figure this out. So first of all, also I like, side note, it was really, really sweet to hear that my vote out was so hard for Kyle and Eleanor. I mean, no hard feelings at all. Like it was fun. I had a blast, and the timing was probably good. And like was roasted by TJ, I did go and spend hours and hours. I think one day Z and I spent 5 hours on call on the jury. So like, yeah, like the jury was very boring until I got there, because, you know, only one of the most talkative people in this game was in the jury. When both of us were there, it was fun. But so if any of you guys know me, I am somebody who I try to play a loyal game, but a cutthroat game. And that is something I actually really respect. I'm nice, but I will cut you if it suits my game. I'm not loyal to you. So I want to know from each of you, and we're gonna start with Jude and then Eleanor and then Kyle. I want to know the most cutthroat move that you made involving a member of the jury that you're most proud of, and the cutthroat move that you made, again, involving a member of the jury, that you're least proud of.
Yeah, so my most proud one was, sorry, Hyrie, but it was yours. There was like we talked about F9. We were debating, this was where everything went haywire, right? Eleanor and Kyle, or the original plan was we wanted to get Hyrie out, but I wasn't gonna vote with them to get you out. So it didn't work, and then that's where Cassie went home. That's where you went home instead. But then the following round, hearing that, I think you were working with Eleanor to try to get me out initially, I was like, well, it's time to get you out too. And I know this might be Eleanor's proudest moment because she's been trying to get him out, but I'll let her speak on which that. But I think it was also mine too, just because that was a moment where I did have an idol and I didn't feel it was worth to play regardless of if the name was me or not. So I was proud that it went the way I wanted it to go and there was no damage of the idol. But yeah, so there's that. I think I've already talked about my least proud, and that was voting out Rocky and then, you know, playing the idol on the person who I didn't vote for. Just because like emotionally it probably stung. So I don't want to speak for Rocky on that, but I felt really bad about doing it. So that was something that I was not proud of. Yeah.
Awesome. Great.
Okay. My most cutthroat move that I am proud of, I don't know if this would be cutthroat, but I did when Jude and I were arguing during your vote out, Cassie, and the night after, I got really pissed and I decided to make a fake idol. So I just left the idol hunt, waited like 30 minutes or so because I knew Jude was tracking what rooms people were in. I waited and then I re-entered the dirt road and then I sat there for 12 hours and then entered a room. And then when Jude asked me about it, I ignored her. And then Hyrie asked me about it, Rocky asked me about it, Kyle asked me about it. And so I think that was it was the most beneficial move that I made, but it was kind of mean to Jude. She did find the idol shortly after, but she immediately told me and then gave it to me twice, which was pretty cutthroat because I didn't need it. Oh, I did the second time, but and then my cutthroat move that I'm not proud of is after you were voted out, Cassie, I everybody was like kind of mad at me at that point and like was saying I was like in a duo with you and all of this stuff. And so I did kind of like say like make negative comments about you and like saying that like, you know, on calls like I could never get a word in edgewise and like you were like one of the people I liked talking to the least and like all this stuff that like I feel like is very obviously not true, but it was something that I had to do in the game to kind of distance myself from you. And so that's something I'm not really proud of. Yeah, I talked to Prod about it too, but like I was like feeling really shitty about that. But I did have to do that with like a couple people because everybody thought I was in a duo with everybody. And so I was like, okay, well, gotta give them what they want to hear. Gotta give them something to separate me from the people that they're pairing me with because perception is reality. So yeah, that was the thing I'm not proud of. So sorry about that.
I'm gonna say the move I'm most proud of. I'm gonna echo Jude and say Hyrie, because at that point we were at final 8 and like we needed to make it past these next few votes, especially with the Club, which was our alliance fractured at that point. Like we were trying to get numbers to do something that was not obvious. And Hyrie, like, it made me feel a little bit better because he was after Jude and trying to exclude me from it. And then like he did have an extra vote. So I would say like Hyrie was the most pride move I made. I'm not gonna lie, I feel a very shit about a lot of these vote-outs. Like even Hyrie's, but if I had to add one proudest moment where it was like, fuck, we pulled that off, it would be the Hyrie vote. Like we took him out with an extra vote. We took out somebody that was coming after the alliance, and we successfully navigated to live night, having options in between with people who we know would work with us over each other. So that was strategic. The move I'm not proud of is your vote, Cass. I think I said it before, you were like my big sister like throughout this, and I had a really fucking hard time with that round. I was trying to play it very strategically that round. Like I know I'm a very like emotional like person socially, and I'm not gonna lie, at times when you were like if I get voted out, it's fine. Normally when you say things like that, it makes shit easier. That did not. It makes me feel even more guilty than if I like had to vote you out. It's gonna like she even like extended that olive branch that she's rooting for the people that she was working with. That felt shit. That really felt crappy. It was not a vote I felt good about morally. Like I really enjoyed me and your chats just hopping in the VC randomly, and even with Jordan like I missed that. And then I'm like after like I think it was the right move strategically, but like socially this is hurting my heart a little. Yeah.
Okay, those are good answers, guys. And like I do want to say anything regarding me, like because two of you brought up like your least proud had to do with me. Don't feel bad about that. Like that, I am not going to hold that against you. It's a game. Like I know, you know, again, yes, I do talk a lot, but like also that's an easy shot to take to distance yourself from me, which you would have needed to do. So hats off. That is something you should not be sad about. You should be proud of because you did what you had to do to get here, and it obviously worked. So like I said, I am not bitter at all. I think all of you guys played stellar games. I think the biggest advice I can give you is just make sure, and you guys are doing a good job of this so far, continue to be self-aware and to own both your strengths and your weaknesses. I don't think most of the jury, if any of the jury, is convinced about who their vote is going for. So you still have plenty of time to differentiate yourselves. And I do think you guys have all played strong games. And Kyle, I will say, I still call you my little brother. Like I did adopt Kyle as my younger brother. Doesn't mean he's getting my vote. But I did adopt 2 siblings in this game, and Kyle was one of them. So lots of love there. Oh, Kyle, don't. You're going to make me cry, you punk. I love you guys. And seriously, like, I have no clue who I'm voting for. I don't vote based on who my friends are. But I love you guys. Great job.
Okay, thank you so much, Cassie. Okay, we are now moving on to juror number 8, and that is Hyrie. So Hyrie, it's your time.
Good morning. So first off, congratulations to all 3 of you. I do want to compliment some of specific congratulations. Eleanor, 6 individual immunities. That's fucking impressive. So hats off to you. Jude, congrats for surviving twice when I tried to make the move against you. And Kyle, congrats on fooling me. That was, I don't know what words to use to describe it, but you fooled me. My segment, I have specific questions. Some of you may have more than others, and then I have an overall question. So first, we're gonna go with the easier ones. Jude, I am a little bit confused with one thing. So just a yes or no for this question. Were you and Rocky ever gonna go to the end together? Or was it more of like this trio?
Oh, just a simple yes or no?
Yes.
It's complicated, but I would say no then. No. At a
Okay.
point it
Thank-
was yes.
Okay. And then for Eleanor. Okay, let's see, where do I begin? Okay.
Sorry.
So one of the things that you had promised me was that you were gonna tell me that you were gonna write my name down.
Mhm.
You didn't get to do that. And all I got from you 2 minutes before was, what the fuck happened? And then I hear things from the jury that that was an orchestrated move and you had been planning that the entire time. So my question to you is, why didn't I deserve to have that ending with you?
Yeah.
Because truly that day when we were on call, I think it was about an hour and a half call. That was the day that I was like, okay, it's time for me to actually work with Eleanor. And the things that I told you, that was not fabricated. So it kind of like burned me a little bit towards the end there. Because some of the jury, like you did tell them like, hey, I'm writing your name down. So why didn't I deserve that from you?
So yeah, that was definitely a strategic decision. I didn't necessarily think you had an idol, but we didn't really know what had happened with the Bomb Bomb idol. And it was my move. The night of like the round before was coming for you so hard. I thought you knew that like I was gonna vote for you. But I had come for you so hard. I had told Rocky, I had told Owen, I had like exposed my plan and nobody wanted to do it. And then finally, I thought you were gonna come after me at 8, not Jude. But I had won immunity. So I really thought you were coming for me. And then when we had that call and we had that great strategy conversation, I was like, oh, he wants to make a move on Rocky. We're going to flip on Rocky. And this is going to be amazing. This is what like talking to Hyrie when he's telling me the truth sounds like. And so the next day when you said it was Jude, I was like, can't do that. And you told me to vote, like to burn a vote on you. I had already pre-voted for you. So it could be a really bad decision for me to not try to pander to you before you left. I knew that you had gotten to beat your record, and I honestly didn't really think that it was going to make or break your perception of my game at that point. I knew that you had been lying to me the entire game, like just based on the information I was getting. I constantly tried to like reach out to you to work with you, and I was like, nope, he's stonewalling me. And then I knew you were in that tight alliance with Rocky and Owen, and I had progressed so far with my group. I don't think you knew that I was never going to cut them. So that was probably why you reached out to me. You probably should have reached out to Kyle though, because I was never going to flip on Jude and Kyle the entire game. Like I never was going to. So I do feel bad that you feel personally bad that I didn't tell you I was voting for you, but we are playing Survivor. And I feel like that is a risk that you have to take. Like, I can't tell you I'm voting for you and then have you pour out the rice. Like, you could have blown up my game. So that is something that was a calculated risk that I took. And if that comes back to bite me, that's totally fair and valid. But yeah, when we had that last conversation or those last two conversations, I was like, it really kind of validated my perception because I was like, oh, this is what Hyrie sounds like when he wants to work with you. He finally wants to work with me, which is amazing, but it was too late. I was locked into my group and you were one of the biggest threats to my game at that point.
Okay. Now the next questions, I need specific answers, and I think it would really help each of your individual games to help the jury make the decision, because a lot of us are really still on the fence with the trio. So as much as possible, try to have that fight in you of wanting to win the game. I know that y'all have equally said, like, okay, whoever wins, it's all right. Like, that's beautiful. But like some of the jury here, we want to see somebody actually like, okay, I want to win. And here's the reason why. So specific examples. We're going to go alphabetical. Eleanor, choose one: social awareness, jury management, or ethical.
Choose what? A question based on those, or?
Yeah, one of the categories.
Social awareness.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you balance building trust with making strategic betrayals?
Okay. Okay, I built trust with a lot of people here, and I did also strategically not build trust with everybody. I touched on that before, but like, I knew that I couldn't play the same game Kyle was playing. I knew Kyle was working with everybody and he was going to have to cut everybody. I knew that if I did that, like looking and sounding like I do and competing the way I competed, I never threw anything. So like that was a decision on my part that, yes, I had a certain level of social awareness and a certain lack of social awareness at the same time, to where I was aware enough that like I could not be as likable as I was in my first game. I was way too close with everybody and I got cut really like soon after the merge because of that, because I was seen as the person with the most information. So in this game, I was the person with the most information, but I was not seen as that. I was seen as a challenge threat and as somebody in a tight like alliance with these guys. But like I controlled pretty much every single vote in my opinion, except for the Cassie vote. So yeah, strategic betrayals. Who did I strategically betray? I guess maybe Paulie, but I never promised Paulie the end of the game. So that was a strategic choice I made, where every round I would tell him, because I never voted for him until the round he went home. Same thing with Danny. Same thing with Rocky. So like I would strategically build trust with people knowing that there wasn't a deadline. So I never like tried to give people the impression that they were going to be with me longer than I knew they were, if that makes sense.
Okay, thank you. Jude, next, ethical or jury management?
Let's go with ethical. I'm curious.
Okay. How did you navigate the line between lying for strategy and maintaining genuine connections?
I think this is something that Z sort of touched on, and something that irritated him with like that I played, was that I tried like my hardest not to include people if I knew that they were going to be directly the votes. Sometimes you have to work around that because, you know, there are advantages and idols in the game, even though idols scared me a lot less because I knew who plausibly had an idol and who didn't. So I think I tried to keep like game and like genuine connection separate. Like, so if I was lying to you, and like I know Kyrie, I think we probably had like a pretty good solid round, 2 rounds where we voted together, and then the round where you went home, like it was basically all lies, and I had to lie in that chat with you and Rocky. So that was hard, but I genuinely like, and I know I mentioned like I wanted to hop on a call with you. That was even like knowing that you were the vote, you probably were going to be the vote. I wanted to hop on a call with you because we hadn't talked in a while, and I did love our call. So it was like I guess like still that was a promise that was a statement I made that I couldn't keep, but I wasn't lying for you to feel comfortable. I still genuinely did want to talk to you, but it just so happened that, oh my gosh, there's 30 seconds, so I'm done. Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. So which leaves us with the last one. Kyle, is there anyone on the jury you think feels betrayed by you, and how would you address that? It can be the same answer that you provided in Fabi's earlier question.
I think I'm gonna ask the same thing. Can I base it off of like this final tribal, how it's been going so far?
Yeah, yeah.
I think someone who may feel betrayed by me, I was going to say Cassie initially, but I'm gonna change it to Z. Like I didn't vote for Z to go, but I think he might be upset because we were like bros at the beginning. Like he was my closest ally of Bitcoiner. And I feel like he might have learned some stuff about my game that I was actually with these people and these people and these people that might have like turned him off to like, okay, Kyle was playing one way, I'm seeing another way, and this totally changes my narrative of him. Yeah.
Okay. I see that we have extra time there, so I'm gonna use it. So this is an overall question. Which jury's members' vote do you think is hardest for you to earn, and how do you plan to convince them tonight? Kyle, you can go.
I'm not just gonna say this because you're here, Hyrie, but I'm gonna say you. Like you, I know I have a long way to go with you, but you like were the only person I knew coming into the game. Like one thing for me individually, I know like we all have different like reasons for voting you out and like reasons together, but I feel like you were the only person I knew coming into the game. And one thing I didn't want to do is, look, we weren't really friends before that, but we knew of each other. We became friends in this game, but I didn't want to make it a mission to like play with somebody or people that I did know. And that was something that I established before the cast was even open. It was hard because that's where I struggled. Like when I talked to you, Hyrie, that's where I distance and you're like, get on VC with me, get on VC now. I'm like, no, because I'm gonna trust him now. And I need to like back away from that. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. My mind is in a million different places. But I think I have the hardest way to go with you, Hyrie, because I feel like out of the three of us, like you did trust me. Like even if you didn't tell me everything, like if you were gonna vote out Jude or like different things like about your advantage and stuff, like I still feel like we had that connection, which, okay, we know we're doing different things, but you're not gonna vote me out. And I hope you just see like the strategic value of like what I was doing to not only protect this alliance, because that's not what I was doing. I was playing for myself too.
That is all of our pool time.
You can answer it in the later segment. Just remember the question when you can. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Hyrie. Okay, we are going to go to our 9th jury member, which is Rocky.
Hi. Before I start talking, I'm gonna say, Prod, shut the fuck up because I know all that shit I was talking in my Prod chat. But yes, I am speaking. Um, I just want to start off by saying, congratulations to all three of you. It is not an easy feat to get here. I should know I am the first third placer of Triumph ever. So it's really not easy to get to this point. So I am very proud of all three of you, and I mean that wholeheartedly. I think all the jury knows I'm probably am one of, well, I'll say now, listening to you, I was one of the most bitter out of everybody. But after listening to you and just realizing that this is a game, that I really don't have a reason to be bitter. And I'll explain why. Eleanor, starting with you, you perceived my game so hard. You knew who I was working with. You knew what I wanted to do. You knew everything. Even with Hyrie telling you, without Hyrie telling you, and everybody telling you, I think that you just clocked me, from the get-go, and you were like a thorn in my ass, and I wanted you gone like so long ago. I was trying to set you up in every way that I could, but you just kept winning. Kyle, another very perceptive person, you kept saying to me, you just didn't want to go out at 5. You didn't want to go out at 5. And if you were ever to read my prod chat, I set up the 5. I wanted to set up that 5. That was for me. Like that's why I wanted to do it. And you were 5th on my list. Then started going playing more game. It started to be interchangeable with you and Jude because I just seen Jude's threat level. And then that brings me to my baby girl Jude. Um, I don't want to get emotional because I really do love you, and I think I was hurt the most with you. Not really hurt, but it was hard to just go through what we went through. But I seen your threat level a long time ago, and I never was going to vote for you. I promise you, ever. But I was trying to set you up big time to make sure that other people seen that you were a big threat and they needed to take you out. And I just needed that to happen, but it never could happen because these two people protected you at all turns. So yeah, I have no reason to be bitter because all 3 of you clocked me. Um, and that's what you're supposed to do in these games. So big ups to you. I guess I'll just have a simple question for all 3 of you. Why should I vote for you? Like it's just a simple, why should I vote for you individually? I'm just going to say that. And you can, you guys got 7 minutes, so take as much time as you need.
I'll go first because I wanted to go on Hyree's question, like the juror I want to fight the most for. I think some of the questions, sorry, I'm also, my mind isn't really in place at this point, but my person I want to fight for the vote the most is you, Rocky, because like, yes, we hopped on a call immediately and we clicked so well, like on OG Cabras. And I had done the research, or I think you mentioned that you were the 3rd place person. That was the first season. They didn't do a final 3, which is insane. And I was like, okay, what are we going to do to get you to the end, right? So that was, I think that was the most we talked about like being final, like, you know, in the finals together. And I think because like, and I mentioned with my luck earlier that I was swapped with Davy and Eleanor, I think that's where we went in separate ways. And like, we did come together and I was still intent on like, I knew you were going to, I like the way after I heard that how you survived Pekana 2.0 and like the connections you made there, I was like, okay, Rocky is a huge threat, but he's on my side at least. And when I like officially made this trio with Eleanor and Kyle, it was like every round, it was like, so when are we gonna get Rocky out? And I was like, we could get Rocky up, but I'm not gonna vote for him because, you know, I love Rocky. And it was that moment in the game where it was like, okay, but we're playing Survivor. So like, either, you know, you want to take Rocky to the end or you want to take us to the end. And that's where I was forced to make that decision at F6. And I think the reason I really like want to like express that to you is because like emotionally wise, I would never have done it. You know, I would have given the idol to Eleanor, washed my hands of it and still voted for her, right? And like completely avoid that with you, even though I knew that you were going to go home. And for my game, like the way I wanted F5, F4, and F3, like, you know, the final ending rounds to go, I knew that you had to go like eventually, but I like kept delaying it. And I think that that was another vote that got me and Eleanor into that huge mess that happened during F9 is because I wouldn't vote for you. And I didn't like, I wanted to maintain connections with you. So yeah, I don't know. I want to like just make sure that, you know, like just game wise, like this is how it had to happen. Like otherwise, like I know it hurt and I know that it wasn't like it hurt, like I don't know. It was like emotionally that was the worst moment of the game for me because of the way it was handled. But yeah, so that's, I think that sums up everything and I don't want to take everyone's time. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll go because Rocky was also my answer to Hyree's question for the jury vote that's going to be the hardest for me to get. And I think a big part of that is because I very candidly told you at one point that you lost my vote if I was on the jury. And that had nothing to do with game. It was just personal in that moment. I still love you, but like, I was like, all right, well, it felt like a little like temper tantrum. I was like, okay, we're playing Survivor. Like, we're not even on a deserted island. Like, we can eat and everything. Like, so I was like, all right, I can't vote for Rocky. But I will say that kind of what Owen brought up earlier about me like saying I wanted to try to build trust with you guys. I was putting in work with you both to get you out, and I was giving you accurate information every single round. I told you every single time your name was out there, except for the time I voted you out. I was telling you, I warned you about the Z vote, that Cassie could vote for Z and Z would go home instead of Polly. I warned you that I wasn't sure about Danny. I was like, oh, I think Danny's with Cassie. I think Danny's with Cassie. So I was like extending like work to you every single round. But yeah, you were my biggest threat, and it did take me a really long time to get you out. I will say I would like to take credit for Jude voting for you. I believe that I convinced Jude to write your name down. Not only she gave me the idol, but I got her and Kyle to both vote for you when they didn't have to. And that's kind of mean and cutthroat, but like, I think that was because of me. So if you value that at all, that would be like another move that I made in the game, because I could not risk Jude or Kyle voting for somebody else and having one of you, Polly or Owen, throw a vote on like Kyle, and then it becomes a tie suddenly. You know what I mean? So like I convinced Jude that she needed to do that in order to protect herself and Kyle, because I had the idol, because neither of them were immune that round. So that was like a really, really big round for my game, because I finally got you out and I convinced Jude to vote for you, which obviously was like really hard for her to do. Kyle can go now.
Thank you. Rocky, I think I deserve your vote, because I think the moment like we merged and we got to meet each other, we clicked so instantly. Like I didn't send like 10-minute voice notes and get 10-minute voice notes from anybody else in this fucking game. And that made me like so like happy, because I'd be on Discord like, because everything was crazy at merch, and I'm like, I gotta stay online. I would be so genuinely happy when I like see Rocky 9 minutes and 39 seconds or something crazy like that. And I was genuinely trying to like form new inroads with the people I haven't like met pre-merge, and you were like arguably one of the strongest connections I built at the merge. Like, and I know it was kind of tricky for us because you kept on clocking what I was doing, and I was like, I'm getting so upset, but I still want to work with him. So that like was infuriating, but I'm like, but my social conversations are good with him. You are the only person, that knows who Jerry Joe is. And so I really built that like capitalize on that social connection with you. I know we were at weird places with each other where we didn't know where we stood with each other, like at this point or at this point. But Eleanor even thought I voted her at Final 6 and like didn't vote for you because she was more confident in Jude voting for you than me. And I was like, damn, like Rocky and I had really formed. And there was times when I was like, I knew I was super tight with Jude. Like I knew we were on a good page. But I was like low-key jealous that like she was really like close to you, because I like had heard that you wouldn't write her name down at all. And then I'm like, I want that relationship with Rocky. I want him to say that to me. But I really think because I respected the hell out of your game, knowing like, even though you like were left out of the vote so many times and you like voted Polly like 5 million times, like you were still you were still in an integral part with people. Like Hyrie loved you, Jude loved you, I loved you, Owen loved you. Like you were surrounded with people that didn't actually want to vote you.
That is time.
That's
Okay, thank you, Rocky. Okay, it's now time for the final member of the jury to speak. So let's welcome Pally.
Maybe. Pally?
Maybe.
Maybe. You here, pal?
There he is. Hold on, Pally, just speak quickly.
Can you say something, Pally? Okay, we cannot hear you.
Yeah.
And now can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
There you go.
Okay, Slay, because my headphone was turned off. Anyways, when is my 10 minutes starting? Whenever I start to go. Okay.
It started.
Okay, great. Welcome. Final 3. I am very, very, very proud of you, because I haven't seen any 3-person alliance making it to the final 3. So I'm very, 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 very proud of you all. And I really, really love all of you too. But I would like to start to questioning Jude, because Jude, You were not talking to me much. You were not talking to me at all. And even though we were supposed to work together in the idol hunt, yeah, I just want to know what made you think that you don't have to talk with me?
I guess not that I didn't think that I would have to talk with you. I did know that you were in a tight alliance with Cassie and Z. I think more or less like what we did talk was like it was just like we're not voting for each other. But yeah, I don't know where like I guess it lacked when we got on our first call together. This was like right before I think I forgot what round. I think it was right before the TJ vote, if I remember correctly. And I didn't have a vote then, so I was just mostly just talking out of my ass. Like I didn't know, but it was just like ensuring you that I think because like at that point, like it was you were hearing your name. I don't know if it was that round, but like throughout the whole merge, it was like you were hearing your name. So that was the extent of our conversations. Like I know it was a little hard, but I truly got to know you through the tribe VCs when we were on together. But yeah, I don't know like where it went off, but I did like I guess like that's where something that I say is a flaw in my social game is that time zones did make it a little hard, and I think we definitely didn't connect as much as I would have liked, but I was happy for the amount of like times that I did get to know you. But yeah, other than that, like it was game wise, we were just like, yeah, I'm not voting for you. And then I was like, I was curious about the 10 final 10 where you were a contender in the name, and I was like, do you need help or things like that? So it was interesting there, but yeah, overall, yeah, sorry about that.
It's just okay. But I also want to ask you about the Final Four immunity challenge. Like, why did you throw out? Because you can never feel safe yourself at that point. For example, I had a 3-person alliance with Kyle and Eleanor. So I could easily just make them throw the name on you instead. So like, what made you feel more comfortable about it? What made you feel that you can throw out the challenge?
Yeah, so that was definitely my overconfidence. But I did, and the night before we talked about the barriers to getting to the end, right? I knew my main barrier, and of course that was me being comfortable in my alliance, was that if you won F4, then I knew I was gonna go home. I was gonna be the next juror. And this was it. Well, that was my perception. That's what I heard from Owen. That's where Owen offered me a deal, right? Like he guaranteed me a seat at F3 if he won F5 and he won F4, right? That would have been a different story. Well, we don't know if that would have happened, but so I knew my only barrier was beating you, and I did have trust in Eleanor, especially. I gave her the idol. Kyle, like I had trust in Kyle too, even though I know there was like a little distrust. Eleanor said she fought to win because she wasn't sure what Kyle would do. Well, like not completely unsure, but like just a little bit. So I did feel very comfortable, and this could have gone badly, and I would have fully accepted that decision if it did happen. But yeah, I knew they had individual goals, like Eleanor winning her 6th and Kyle winning his first immunity challenge. And I just wanted to beat you. So I did step back. And if it did bite me in the ass, that would have been honestly, I think I would have laughed about it a little bit, because I do think that I maybe could have like gotten a little close on that challenge. My pen was slipping, but I did step back. So a little overconfident, but it was a lot of trust in the people who I was loyal to. And I was hoping that were loyal to me too.
All right. Okay. Eleanor, Kyle, you were the 2-person who were very, very close to me after Cassie got voted out. So I would like to ask you, why did you think that the 2 of you can fake your duo, in my opinion? Because for me, the 2 of you working together was very obvious to me. And you were constantly lying to me about, yeah, I'm not working together. Kyle throw my name out as a possibility for a vote. So why did you do that? What was the goal with it?
For me, I was hearing that everybody thought I was in duos with everybody. So, yeah, I really tried to downplay my relationship with Kyle. I found out very early in the merge, I was hearing from everybody like, oh, Kyle speaks really highly of you. Kyle seems to really like you. And I was like, oh shit, Kyle, like stop talking about me. So So I did try to downplay that. I told people like I was just flirting with Kyle and like gonna like drag him along and stuff like that. I knew Kyle was a smart strategic player. Another reason why, Polly, I didn't think you voted for me. I thought Kyle might have because I overestimated his strategic mind. I thought that he voted for me to drive a wedge between me and you and me and Jude at 6, which would have been such a smart move if he had done that because it was risky, but like I think that he like that would have been really smart for him to do that because it would have caused paranoia. I like luckily didn't let it affect me and I didn't really ask anybody. I was just like, you know what? Nah, it makes sense for all 3 of them to vote for me there. I was safe. But yeah, and then at the final immunity challenge, I mean, I don't want to sound like super obnoxious, but people were saying fight for the win. So like I do think that I would have won that whether Jude threw it or not. So I think that didn't really matter. Like I rewatched the video and yeah, I because I wasn't looking at the screen. I was like in the zone. So I didn't really see what was happening until I rewatched it. But yeah, I think I had that one either way. And then I had also prepared in case you won, Polly. I had talked to Jude and Jude said, and if you were gonna like vote for Kyle, I told Jude, or if you were going to vote for Jude, I was like, okay, well, I will vote for Kyle and at least send you to fire. We can both vote for Kyle. I said the same thing to Kyle. And so I had a contingency in case you won because I didn't know if you were going to target me or not, but I wanted both of them to be prepared to protect me, knowing that I was going to protect them over the other one.
That's pretty smart answer. Kyle, my little brother. I mean, I was your little brother. I'm so sorry. And we are twins at the moment because we have the same outfit.
Literally.
I love that. Your answer to this?
So the question was, why did I try and hide my duo with Eleanor?
Yeah, because you two were constantly lying about it to me.
Okay, Eleanor can attest to this. There were moments where we didn't fucking trust each other. Still to this day, I sent her 1 minute and 58-second voice note that probably scared the living shit out of her. And I said to her, you need to stop your shit because that was after she like was throwing Jude out as like whatever she was trying to do. I honestly gravitated towards Jude at that point in time. Like I was really feeding off what Jude was telling me and Jude's energy. And even like people were telling me like, you're a duo with Jude now. So I'm like, okay, for the first half of the merge, I was a duo with Eleanor, and now I'm a duo with Jude. But those conversations were very real with Eleanor. When she ranted about me, that was real. She still called me the new TJ, which that stupid Kanabara thing started. And I was like, shut up this girl. And that was all very real. Like, I was getting very agitated with Eleanor at certain points in this game. As she was with me. You literally saw it now. She thought that I voted for her at Final 6. She thought I was going to flip on her at Final 5. She thought I was going to flip on her at Final 4. Like, I'm baffled. But, like, that was all real when we had trust issues with each other. But together, we were a trio. Like, if it was about duos and stuff, Eleanor and Jude had their duo early on. I feel like Jude and I became a duo at, like, Final 9, 8. And then Eleanor got her shit together. She finally came back within that. So that was very real. There were moments when we came back together. We said, okay, let's work together. And there were moments where I'm like, I can't stand this girl anymore. Like, honestly. Sorry.
All right. No, that's enough. That's enough. I still had a little bit of time, but yeah, I don't think I can ask any other questions. Do we have any other time left?
There is no pool time.
Okay, then it sucks a lot because I wanted to ask a lot of more questions, but anyways, my vote is still open for any of you, but we will see how it goes. And we got the sound also, so yeah, I'm logging off.
Okay, thank you, Pally. Okay, that is the jury questioning portion over. But there is still one more thing that you've got to do, and it is your closing statements. So You will each have 3 minutes to make your closing statement, and this is your final chance to convince this jury why you deserve to triumph. So I think it goes without saying, make these 3 minutes count. So, a reminder of the order. Kyle will go first, then Jude, and then Eleanor. So I will now pass it over to Megan, who will sort out all the times.
Yep, you have 3 minutes. So whenever you start talking, Kyle, I will start your timer.
All right. Same as my opening speech, I just want to say thank you to production for putting on an amazing game. Again, this has been one of the most like eye-opening experiences for like my character and how I view myself at the end of the day. And I really appreciate all of your feedback, all of your criticism, all of the jokes, compliments. Those were all real for me. And I still do think, as much as people undervalued like where I was in the game or underestimated my position, I think I played a game that relied heavily on strategic domination and social networking with people. Again, these vote outs were fucking hard. I literally am such a baby. I cried like after like 8 out of the 10 of these vote outs. So but I had to separate social and strategic at the end of the day. To play a good social game, but to know when to vote somebody else strategically for my game. And I think that I did that very well. It wasn't about being a floater. It was about being underestimated and kind of being the silent assassin that people took for granted. So I think I played that very well to my strengths, my abilities, my facades, like what I wanted people to see versus the versions I didn't want people to see, like how well I can excel in that, how well I can excel in this. At the end of the day, yes, we are a trio. I love these two, but I feel like I played an individual game, like based on what I was doing. And I had a lot of say in where people were at in this game. I had a lot of say in votes. I had a lot of direction in the way that this game moved, and I was placing strategic blocks 24/7 and then still keeping up social rapport with everyone. Like, whether you see my game or not strategically, I did try with every single one of you socially. Like, even if it's just banter or like getting on tribe VCs and stuff, I genuinely tried my hardest with everybody here. And I do think that my game combined and the way that I played from starting tribe to swap tribe to merge to the finale, like, is evidential that like I should triumph. I know I stole like 50 seconds, but yeah, I love this whole cast, even the pre-jury. I love the two ladies sitting next to me, and yeah, thank you, jury and production.
Okay, thank you, Kyle. We're now going to move on to Jude. Your closing statement starts now.
Yeah, so also same, still want to say congrats to the people sitting next to me, and thank you, jury, for your questions. Definitely allowed me to rethink what I wanted to say, so I am not writing what I did for my closing statement. I did want to start with my blanket statement. I want to win because, and I think I deserve to win. This is overall the best game I have ever played, and I know I said I've only played 5 games, but I think just going from where I started and learning everything that I've learned continually through those games, like whether it be social, like trying to make strategic moves, not only relying on just winning immunities, I've actually learned and have applied to this game. So social wise, yes, pre-merge, I was trying to be that social person, and I had a lot of social rapport. As we got into the merge, I did make mistakes, and like Polly pointed out, like I did not talk to some people as much, him included. So I think there are moments that we need to look at our game and, you know, take like a step back and like realize that we did make mistakes. So I do think that I deserve to win because I had those moments. I am proud of everything that I did, but there are moments that I'm not proud of, that I have mentioned like throughout the whole jury questioning. But yeah, overall, I would love to win because I had a great combination of social, strategic, and physical. Regardless of how you look at it, there were some flaws, and flaws just, you know, I think are just notes to take for the future and things that, you know, you want people to acknowledge on. So I think maybe I should have read what I had, but also I wanted to include that because while yes, I'm going to say I am happy, like genuinely, whoever wins tonight, but I do really want to win. And if not, you know, I will take the notes and feedback that I've gotten throughout the season and use it for a future season where, you know, I think I could do even better, you know, in the case that I don't win. But yeah, I guess just I have like a whole minute left. But yeah, I am so proud of the way these other two played, Eleanor and Kyle. We did have our whole like kumbaya moment where we talked about each other's game earlier. But just yeah, take everything you've heard into consideration. I'm so happy every jury member has mostly said that they're very open to voting. So take this time to yourself to think about who like truly deserves to win. I think we've all expressed that no one's gonna like, we're all happy to see whoever wins. So love you all. Thank you, production. Thank you, pre-jurors. Thank you, jurors. And thank you, BL, for, you know, watching this game. And yeah, that's all for me.
Thank you, Jude. Okay, finally going to finish off with Eleanor.
All right. I have like notes and stuff, but I wanted to kind of freeball this one. Okay, so I'm just it's gonna be more bullet points than like a beautiful paragraph. But a bullet point, I voted correctly at every single tribal council I was at, except for one where I knew Davey was most likely going home and made a strategic decision that was very risky to not vote for him. Also, we were the only 3 people to vote for you, Owen. Should have clocked us sooner. Maybe you did, but anyways, and at final 5, like, okay, so I've been getting a little bit of flack for my social game being a little bit lacking. And while that was intentional, while that was slightly intentional, there were points in this game where I was emotionally exhausted due to stuff in my personal life. And I knew that I could not build relationships that I knew I was going to betray. That being said, I think that y'all can see how strong my social game can be and was this season through my relationships with Jude, Kyle, Polly, Danny, Cassie. And I wasn't sure a couple days ago if my reads were as accurate as I thought they were. But after talking with Jude and Kyle and doing the rites of passage, every single suspicion I had about other relationships and connections that were going on were confirmed. So I feel more confident that my social game was a little bit more on point. I just didn't really flaunt it. Also, another point for my social game at 5, Kyle and Jude should have voted me out. Owen had immunity, or no, not Owen, Jude had immunity, and we voted out Owen. And that, I think, was like their opportunity to flip on me. But my social game was so strong, I convinced them that y'all, if I win this like final immunity challenge, I'm taking both of you guys to the end, because that's the truth. So like it was easy to convince them, but like that to me was wild that they didn't take that opportunity. Yeah, I convinced Jude and Kyle at live night to keep the biggest physical threat in the game, the biggest strategic threat in the game, and maybe not the biggest social threat, but I think that that is something that I had to compromise with my game in order to get to this point. I really don't think I would be here if I had the same relationships that Jude and Kyle had with everybody. And that was really intentional for me. And it maybe, like I said, maybe will hurt me, but that's something that I can live with because I know that I formed this alliance, started the, initiated the final 3, and then kept us together the entire time. So yeah, I think I outwitted, outplayed, and hopefully will outlast. So thank you guys for your time. I really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Eleanor, and thank you, Final 3. You have done all you can to convince this jury to vote for you. I'm going to come on camera. But now it's time to turn over to the jury who will be making their final decision. Jury, I just want to remind you, you are voting for a winner. You are voting for who you want to win, and we always have to specify that because you never know who's not listening. But you will be going into the voting booth one at a time to cast your vote. You will be with the lovely Keisha. Keisha, I'm going to open it now for you. So, jury, this is your time to vote. You are now also allowed to come on camera and off mute. We do just say Do not talk about anything game-wise that will lead to people figuring out who you're voting for. You can talk about moments, but don't give any indication of how you're feeling about where your vote may be. Just an FYI.
Don't
Also,
fuck it up.
shout-outs. Also, you can do shout-outs.
Shout out Ollie's podcast.
Okay, but before you start doing shout outs, I'm going to ask two things. One, pay attention to your screen for when I send you the prompt to come into the voting booth, please, and hit it. Two, when you're in the voting booth, wait for me to ask you for your vote and then quickly leave. Thank you.
So now, if anybody would like to do any shout outs, now is the time to do so.
Shout out Survivor now.
Shout out Survivor.
You're actually a hopeless cause. at
Survivor
this
later.
point. Survivor now.
Sorry, Ollie.
I didn't do that twice though, Kyle.
This is the second time. Sorry.
Oh, do you think it's cute that he's only done it twice?
It was cool that you guys had Carson on. I watched that today to distract myself from stress.
Want to watch me?
I know you weren't in that one.
No, but I did my podcast today, and you decided not to watch it.
Oh. Are you guys being eaten alive by the stress? Because now you can breathe. You can't do anything to change our minds at this point. So now you should breathe.
What was so funny is before the F before this, Kyle is like, stress is the worst thing you could do, blah, 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 blah. And then look at him. He's stressed.
I'm stressed.
Why give me advice then?
That's how I felt at the moment.
You're gonna go vote, Eleanor, you said? Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh my goodness. You guys did good though. I'm proud of you guys. Like legitimately, I think you guys deserve to be sitting here. So way to go. Like I'm excited. I don't have any freaking clue. So even if I wanted to give you guys a hint of where tonight's going, I don't have a freaking clue. I don't think any of us
Funny that,
really know where
because you're not allowed to.
Even
Well
saying
said.
that is not okay. Thank you.
Doctive.
Yeah, my mouth had to get me in trouble one more time. It's fine.
One more time. But does anyone here like mint chocolate chip ice cream?
No.
Piss off.
Oh my god. Okay, so I'm changing the rules.
Literally, mint is only for gum and toothpaste and mouthwash. Things that should not be swallowed.
So
It's a different kind of mint, okay? I will stand on this. I will die on this
I
hill.
agree. I will die with Megan because it is a hill worth dying on.
Thank you. Cassie wins the game. Good night, everyone.
Wait, what's a hill going on?
Mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Yeah.
That
I
is
don't
good
think
or
it's
that is
I don't
bad?
think it's that bad.
That is good. It's my favorite.
We have like a
Oh.
liquor here. It's called Berlin Air if you translate it, and it's like peppermint. So I always drink it if we like go out early because after I brush my teeth and I drink it, it just tastes like water. So it's easier to drink.
Oh, well, that's a good hack, actually. But
Crazy.
Oh gosh.
Guys, they're playing Christmas music. I'm so happy. I love Christmas.
It's November.
It's my favorite. It's Christmas season. It's literally a month till Christmas about.
It's not Christmas season. It's not even Christmas month.
It is Christmas season.
I
when
agree. I'm with Kyle on this.
I
No.
just want to say, like, I fully understand, but I kid you not, because I'm from Sleepy Hollow, so I'm a big Halloween town. 12:01 a.m. on November 1st, Mariah Carey just enters my TikTok page, and I cringed so hard.
As she
Wait,
should,
what?
because like I cannot get sick of Christmas.
Ooh, do people
I
mind
have
if-
a very controversial, unpopular opinion. I hate Mariah Carey, and people yell at me for it.
Or like her-
anyway.
Why? What'd she do to you?
yeah.
I mean, not anything to me personally. I just don't like her personality. That's it.
This
Like,
is-
she's a great singer. I just don't think I
It's
would
not
like her.
personal, but I don't like her personality.
No, like not like to me personally. Like I don't know her, obviously. Then I would have more reason to not like her if I knew her. But
Remember
know.
when Prot asked in one question what everyone's favorite Taylor Swift song was, and my response was, I don't like anything Taylor Swift did the last 5 years. So I just gave
I remember that. I
So
stopped
then
listening
Bobby
around
got rigged out of the
Red
game
came
at that
out.
point.
Do people mind if I give a quick shout out though? Because I do have family in Kansas watching. So shout out to my dad and my brother and Hannah. I know that they're watching. And I also owe my twin a shout out. So love you, twin.
Twin?
No,
Okay,
just a buddy.
Like this, how did this whole season go by?
The world can only handle one of you.
Yeah.
No, Ollie has a
No, me
twin, right?
too. I can barely like handle myself, guys.
Sorry, what about me?
You have a twin, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Not confirming nor denying those rumors.
Okay.
More for us.
You up, Ollie? I'm just kidding. But it would be easy.
I'm all
What, Alex? Anyway, Tyrone, not Tyrone. Oh my gosh, I read your name and I was like, what the fuck?
It's actually, so just to clear it up,
TJ,
Tyrone
yeah.
is actually my
Alex is
name.
drunk.
I was using TJ for the game specifically, so feel free to call me by my real name. My real name is Tyrone.
No, I know you. Like I was
know.
gonna refer you as TJ, but I was reading your name. But anyway, your background is like very Wicked themed. I'm not sure if it's intentional because I know you love it, but I think it's intentional. Okay.
It is intentional. It is, and I'm
You
in
watch
pink.
TV?
I'm in pink because pink goes good with green.
It does. It does. My nails pink and green. Anyway,
Oh my
do you watch
gosh.
movies?
By the way, did anybody else die at Z's roast
Read?
of TJ? Yeah,
Yes.
I'm
We
sorry. I
absolutely
almost
lost it.
fell out of my chair. I was like,
You know he
oh
was
my
waiting to.
gosh.
You know he was
Just an
waiting to call that out.
FYI, if anybody would like to read TJ now is the time to do so.
Danny had a really good one. Danny had a really good one. Go on.
Wait, you want me to say it?
Yeah, go on, say it.
Okay, the Australian Survivor casting team was watching this season in sigh of relief.
That's good.
Okay, I gotta go vote and move. Bye.
Bye. Ooh, I think I have so many more good roasts of TJ, but I don't do well under pressure. Let me think.
What was the shirt? What was the shirt reference that you made? I didn't understand the shirt. I was like, what
I
shirt
don't
is she
know.
talking about?
I don't know. I just felt like you were always in like a neutral colored button up every time I saw you because you were at work.
Oh,
You were just
gotcha.
wearing like a
Okay.
neutral. You were just wearing like a blue button up all the time or something. I don't know. I don't know. I told you. I can't
There were
read.
so
I'm an
many
orc.
things. There were so many things you could have gone off me at. But nice work on the
Let me see.
the
Yeah,
comment
nice.
about me
Most
being first
people.
boot. But if Z was final three, he definitely would have got my vote.
Yeah.
I had to go.
Wait, Bobby, can I ask? You had the idol, right?
Hmm?
I told you to play it.
Bobby! Oh my god.
Wait, Fabi, do you really had the idol?
Yeah.
Bobby.
I was the smartest bitch ever. I can't. Oh my
Who
gosh.
convinced you not to play it? Are we allowed to ask? I don't
No
know.
one.
Oh.
He just didn't think he needed to play it, so I didn't even know he
No.
had it.
Wait, Bobby, you had an idol?
I knew it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew it. Oh my god.
Actually,
got it off
Polly
the Pena
thought he
2.0,
did.
right? You got it on
Polly
Pena 2.0.
I
thought.
thought so, but like when you didn't play it, I was like, oh, maybe not.
Yeah, no, I was
No.
just not feeling playing it.
I knew it.
God.
I knew it. Oh
I
my
let
god, that
Polly
was
make that
such-
decision because I knew that if it backfired, Polly was gonna go.
Mm-mm.
So, and I was like, okay, like Polly, this is on you. Well,
Cassie, we
you know.
played it so well.
And I mean, everyone
We
who voted me
did.
out got voted out eventually, so.
I mean, I was the next round. Like, so yeah.
And wait,
I
Bobby,
said as much.
you got it on Pena 2.0, right? Not your OG
No,
try?
I got it. Yeah, I got it on. Oh, I was so close to get it on the first try. Like,
Okay, that's what I
I was
thought.
like one
You
change
joined the
away,
idol
but
hunt right before me on Swap Tribes, and I was like, front runner is Favi or Polly. And then I saw Polly go into the correct rooms. But yeah.
Who had the Bomb Bomb idol? Was it ever found?
My guess was
Chef had it.
or
Yeah.
Tuesday, but
He had it.
Chef got voted off with the idol. And for anyone that didn't hear, he's actually my
Your
cousin's
grandson.
godson.
yeah.
My cousin's godson, not my grandson,
Great
bitch.
grandson, you said? I'm just kidding.
Oh my god.
I
You
got
guys
you.
suck.
If I had a nickel for every time I voted someone out with an idol in this game, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot.
You guys have nickels?
We don't have
No,
nickels.
we do not.
You would just have
I had a
two.
20-cent coin for every time I voted someone out.
A loony.
When they were asking about the coins challenge, I was like, "Do you mean pennies?" And Prod's
Yeah,
like,
they don't
"Girl,
care.
come on,
I was like,
this
what
is
do you
an
want?
and, like there are people. Not everyone has pennies." I was like, "Shoot, you're so right." Yeah, I did try it with nickels though, and it was exceptionally harder. So, yeah.
I really regret not washing the coins before I put them in the cup
because
because they were
too.
so clean when they came out. I didn't realize how dirty they were before, and I was
I
like, "Ooh,
washed
that's
mine
all
like
in my
5
tummy."
times. I
Because I
washed them.
swallowed a
Eleanor,
lot.
how did you do that so fast? Because I felt like, we were against each other and I felt like I
Yeah.
had no time at all.
They didn't tell me how fast you were, so I don't know how close it was or not. But I messed up a couple times. Like I dropped a couple back in as I was pulling them out. So Kyle said he did it in like 11 seconds.
I think Owen might have done it faster.
Then
Owen was
11?
insanely, yeah, Owen was insane. He did not miss a beat. And I was like, I had gotten 1 coin out by the time his were all out.
Oh, me too. Me with Eleanor. I had 1 coin out.
How do you know? Did they tell you when my time was over?
They stopped me after. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh my
okay. See, they didn't
God.
tell me how you did until the results, and then even then they didn't show us our times. So I didn't know. It was kind of nerve-wracking to not know, but I feel like it would have been more distracting to be wondering while you're there, oh, how's she doing? Looking up.
I didn't even have
I
time
think
to
it was
wonder
a
because
lot nicer doing it 1v1, seeing. Sorry, Polly. Polly didn't get a single coin out before I finished. So it was also
I was struggling. You can ask Prod because I was choking on salt water. I was inhaling it. If there was an award for messiest player in that challenge, it would have been me. It would have
not
100%
TJ
been
immediately
me.
turning. That was
I saw that. He was like,
that was hilarious.
He's like,
Oh my God. TJ, do you remember that call on Bomb Bomb? It was right after the telephone challenge where you were telling everybody about what happened, and I was just dying laughing for 15 minutes straight.
About me and Brian.
And Brian, yeah.
Oh, look, we don't need to. I've told that story 5 times. I don't need to tell it again.
oh,
No,
Yeah,
you don't have to tell
we
again.
don't need to go
save it
into
for the
it.
reunion. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I was
For the last
dying.
time. For the last time. Okay, so
No, we don't need to go into it.
okay, there you go.
No.
You just get me after the call if you need to. If you need
Not
to hear what.
TJ
what
being a
people-
messy
need to
slut
know.
once again.
Mm.
I think that was the
I
start.
even redesigned the game logo and everything. It was okay. It was Triumph Gaze Collide. That's what it was.
Oh, right.
God, that was insane.
Oh my gosh.
Guys, for me, Bobo Tribe was the exactly as Lulu Tribe from season 47-5.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry.
I-
I'm sorry about that, but the exact same shit happened.
Yeah. Bomb Bomb
with
went
them.
boom.
So for those of you who never joined the jury, do you guys want to hear the funniest thing that I may have ever heard somebody say in a game that Z said while we were on a call on
Yes.
jury?
Go for it.
Z referred to himself because I was talking about how I'm going to Orlando in a couple weeks. I'm gonna go swim with manatees, and Z referred to
no.
himself as, what is it, a manatee with hair?
Oh my god.
Like,
And that's the funniest thing you've ever heard?
no, it was, oh my gosh. I would have to, I actually typed it into the group chat, into the jury chat, because I was dying. I was dying. So I can't remember exactly what it was. I think Jordan was there. Z, do you remember what you said? Or are you even paying attention?
Yeah, I you said you were going to swim with manatees, and I said, "Ah, my relatives," because I started a crippled manatee with hair.
Oh, crippled manatee with hair. Yes, that's what it was.
Oh, I think they asked us at like a tribal council what some of our favorite moments were, and I forgot about two that I want to bring up. One of them was when we were having like a semi-serious conversation in like the tribe chat, in like the tribe VL. We were like talking, and Cassie brought up like an instance of like racism that had occurred in another game, and then Davey just pops in the club, muted, but in his Halloween costume, just like, yeah, let's go. And we were
We're like, not the time, not the time.
It was like one of the best parts of the season for me. It
Oh
was
no,
so
we couldn't stop
Sorry.
laughing.
It was
Don't
we needed that.
apologize. That was fantastic. Like it was serious, and then there's Davey, and he looks half stoned, and he's like, yeah.
Okay,
fine.
everyone. I think we're ready. Ollie is here.
Where's the jet ski?
Hi. No. Okay. Final three, I have the votes. Now, before I reveal the votes, if anybody has an idol that they want to play. Yeah, Fabi. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll play Fabi's idol and
Since
Dash.
I never got to use it.
It's too late for you to play it.
Unfortunately, no idols can be played. But this is the time you want to see your name on these parchments. One of you is about to triumph. So, first vote, Eleanor. That's one vote, Eleanor. Second vote, Jude. Third vote, Kyle. That's one vote, Eleanor, one vote, Jude, one vote, Kyle. 7 votes left. Next vote, Eleanor. That's 2 votes, Eleanor. Fifth vote, fifth vote, Kyle. That's 2 votes, Eleanor, 2 votes, Kyle, 1 vote, Jude. Next vote, Eleanor. Next vote, Kyle. That is 3 votes, Eleanor, 3 votes, Kyle, 1 vote, Jude. 3 votes left. Next vote, Kyle. That's 4 votes, Kyle. Next vote, and the winner of Triumph Worlds Collide, Kyle. Kyle, congratulations, you have triumphed.
I'm gonna cry so bad. Shout out. Wait, I want to shout out a lot of people. Shout out to John Farrell. I swear, John Farrell is my good luck charm. The only other game I've won was John Farrell's. I've played 43 games, and the 2 that I've won, he was on prod 4. I'm so ecstatic. I'm probably gonna cry myself to sleep. Thank you to each and every single one of you. I was not expecting this sitting next to June and Eleanor. I can't even contain myself. I'm so proud of you guys. I really felt defeated after this. I wasn't sure I was gonna deal with this, but I'm so happy I got to make it to final 3 with you guys, and I want to be friends with all of you guys. I'm so happy to be the representative of the season and just be a part of something so amazing with so many amazing people. Means to me. I don't think this is fully kicking in for me, by the way. I think it'll kick in like the next hour when I eventually pass out. But I love you guys so much. Jude and Eleanor, you guys played such amazing fucking games, and I will bug the shit out of you. You guys are not escaping me. And that goes to the rest of you guys. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate this needs to kick in.
Well, Kyle, congratulations. You are the one to triumph, but also Eleanor, congratulations on second. Jude,
you.
congratulations on third. As we have said, it is not easy to make the final 3. And we have said that both of you, well, all of you, but obviously one of you won, so we'll ignore it for the moment. But you 2 also played winning games, so you should be so proud of yourself.
Thank you so
However,
much.
that is the end of this season. Congratulations once again, Kyle. Thank you everyone for this amazing season. But this wraps up Final Tribal Council